All right. I think we are live. Let me turn my sound off on my phone. All right. So we're going to wait a little so we can let some people get in here so we can welcome everyone in. All right. So we got 3 people in, so welcome everyone in. Let's give some time for everyone to come in. We are talking about, let me take that banner down. Medicinal herbs and plants. I just got the notification now that I'm live, so we'll wait a couple. Usually it takes about 5 or 10 minutes for people to come in, to get the notifications, to be able to say, let me head over. Lori's World. Hello, Lori's World. I've been enjoying your painting, your fluid art. That is some awesome stuff you got going on over there. And then you had the vineyard chicks involved too. That was pretty cool. So we're going to let everyone, we're going to try to get some more people in here. Welcome in, you guys. On your way in, please hit the thumbs up. And if you're watching the replay, then thank you for watching the replay, and I appreciate you. Sam, thank you very much for coming in. What gloves do you have at home? Gloves? I don't normally use gloves. I have to be honest. When I'm out in the garden, I am just, I don't use a lot of gloves. Hello, family. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be talking about medicinal herbs. We're going to talk about some good things. We're going to talk about some bad things. Not necessarily bad things, but we got to talk about side effects and that type of thing as well. So we're just going to let some people come in. My guest today is Lisa from our Georgia Suburban Homestead, and I'm so pleased to have her with us today. She is certified in herbs and herbalism, so she has done her research, hours on end of research in her lifetime, so I appreciate her sharing her knowledge with us. Flip cups. Ooh, that sounds fun. Flip cups this Saturday. Oh, that sounds like something fun for the kids to do. Phoenix, hello. Thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for coming in. All right. I'm going to bring Lisa up so we can get her introduced to anyone who doesn't already know her, and to just get her up and talking so that we can get through our intros and things and get on to talking about our medicinals. So let's bring Lisa up. All right. So this is Lisa from our Georgia Suburban Homestead. Lisa and Charlie are obviously in Georgia. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about your, well, obviously we know your name and your location. So tell us a little bit about your background and your credentials.
Well, my background really, I started growing things back in the 80s when I was first married. I was a research assistant in agriculture at Auburn University, War Eagle. Um, and then I've used herbs as medicine most of my life. But after retiring and moving to Georgia, I enrolled in a herbal medicine school in an immersion program that uh, took about 2.5 years to complete. It's You can do it online, and it covers a lot of academics, uh, botany, Latin names, uses, how to grow it, how to make different things with the herbs. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend the Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine. They certify you once you pass the course, and you do take exams, and you must prove that you're actually making the herbal remedies and growing them. You take photographs and answer questions at each step. It does not enable you to be a practitioner. There are other courses you can take online that are more academic and do allow you to work towards certification as a practitioner. So my immersion was really to address, I'm getting older, and so is Charlie. Hey, David. To address our health problems, which mount as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grow mostly things that address, as you can hear, I've got bad lungs, and it's pollen season, and I just had the flu. So please excuse me if I start coughing. So I don't prescribe herbal remedies to anyone. I can talk here tonight about what can easily be found with any good search online. But I'm not going to tell you how to take it or if you should take it. Okay.
Right.
And that'll, when we go through terms, I believe that Adrian's going to ask me about terms. We'll talk about what you need to look for before you even decide to use an herb as medicine.
Okay, so so we're going to do a disclaimer, right? We're going to say that Lisa's not a practitioner. She's just a life student of herbal medicine. She's certified by the Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine, so she has accredited coursework that she's done online. Plus, she continues to study. She does not prescribe herbal remedies or make any claims to be an expert. So anyone watching the stream or tuning in or watching the replay, just know that you want to do your own research on things for your own health. And now we're going to talk about some terms that you need to keep in mind when you're approaching herbs so that you can do your research the right way, so that you can look into how a certain herb will counteract with your body and with what you have going on. So talk about the terms a little bit, Lisa.
Okay. I believe you have a link to my live broadcast where I actually walked people through the research process. Is there any way to post that?
Yeah.
So later people can go watch it. It's a 2-hour broadcast, but I put the people in the chat through their paces, using the skills I was teaching. And I just want to say that David Gray said, I need mullein for my coughing. I've got mullein, mint, thyme, and eucalyptus in this cup. So yes, David, thank you for saying that. So terms. There's a term, it's contraindication, all one word. CONTRAINDICATIONS. And you put your herb name and contraindications beside it, and you should get a list of interactions between that herb and whatever medication you may be on. Or you can even add the name of the medication you're taking after the word contraindications. Please do that before taking any supplement, before taking any herb as a medication, and then check with your physician. Okay. When you're researching your herbs, one thing you really need to do is learn the botanical name for them, because some herbs that have different botanical names are called colloquially the same thing. Like a lot of people say holy basil when they mean Tulsi, and we'll get into that a little bit further on, the different scientific names for that. But you also need to be aware of the dosage you need to take. So it's not as easy as just going out picking an herb and pouring hot water over it. Okay. Thank you, Adrian. Yes, David, you are a good student. Hey, Granny. And Belt Loop, thank you for being in both chats. I'm still working on getting my watch hours up in my membership. So if you can be in both chats, that would help me out a little bit. So advising you what to take and how to take it is kind of irresponsible of me. So I won't do it. I'll just talk about general terms, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So botanical name, use the term contraindications. Do watch my live on how to dig deep or deeper. And that should cover us, Adrian.
Okay. So then what we're going to talk about now is we're going to go over some of just the, what let's call them, we'll call them common, some of the more common or everyday herbs that maybe most of us have at home or use on a regular basis, or we are at least familiar with. So we'll go over some of those. Phoenix says, Lisa is very smart. Different herbs react so weird with me. I'm Nigerian Egyptian, but also type 1 diabetic. Turmeric, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and bay leaf lowers my blood sugars horribly. Wow. Okay. Well,
Yes, you have to be careful.
it's good that you know that and that you know to stay away from those, and moderation,
So you say you're part Egyptian. Do you speak any Arabic? I speak a little shwaya shwaya. Um, so basil, and you're not going to laugh at me because I didn't take Latin in school. So Adrian, you want to jump in and say what basil is? The culinary basil. What's the Latin name?
Ocimum
Very
basilicum.
good. Very good. Of course, the most common way to use most of the herbs we're going to talk about is through tea. But one of the tricks to making herbal medical tea is to know how long do you steep it. Some herbs you only need 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and other herbs you're going to need 20. So it's an interesting thing to learn. And at the end of the broadcaster, if you have my email now, if you want my notes for the live chat tonight, I'm willing to send them to you. And you'll see what both Adrian and I are reading from. So I see you, Nikki. Thank you. So basil. Most of us grow basil in our garden, no? So use it as
Absolutely.
a tea if it's fresh. You're going to use 2 tablespoons of chopped up fresh basil leaves in boiling water, and then it's only going to take you 5 minutes to steep. It can settle your stomach and help ease a headache. Adrian, I think you get migraines.
Yes.
Have you tried basil?
I did not know to try basil. So I know that now.
Steam can help with congestion. I need some. Um, chew the leaf if you get migraines, if that helps you. You can crush fresh leaves and put them on bee stings. I haven't tried that because I use plantain. Um, supposedly, the oil can help you focus your mind, and that would be in an infusia that releases the scent.
Mhm.
But basil is actually in the mint family, and it's been known to uh, calm stomach spasms, treat loss of appetite, intestinal gas, some kidney conditions, fluid retention, head colds, warts, and worm infections. How's that for a broad spectrum?
Right.
Now, I found a reference saying it's used to treat snake and insect bites. I would use it more for the insect, and if I got bitten by a venomous snake, I'd be on my way to the hospital.
Absolutely.
Women sometimes use basil before and after childbirth to promote blood circulation and to start the flow of their breast milk. Now, that leads me to holy basil, which is tulsi. So it's
Mhm.
related to basil because it is an osama. But Adrian, you want to take that second part of its scientific name? Take a stab at that.
Let's see. Ocimum tenuiflorum.
Right. And the other one?
Ocimum sanctum.
Right. There are 4 types of tulsi. So when you say, very good, there are 4 types of tulsi, and each one has its own characteristics. So using your search techniques, you can find out what each one addresses. There's Rama tulsi, which is a green leaf, Sri or Lakshmi, Krishna, which is a purple leaf, and Shema tulsi. There's also Vena, which is a wild tulsi.
Okay.
I tried to grow Kapoor this year, but it wouldn't germinate for some reason. Everyone else came up, but Kapoor decided it wasn't going to cooperate. And whereas sweet basil or culinary basil only takes 5 minutes of steeping, the tulsi you need to steep 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
To get the benefits of it. It does help you counter metabolic stress. It normalizes blood glucose, blood pressure, lipid levels. It helps you with psychological stress. It has a positive effect on memory and cognitive function, and is analgesic and antidepressant.
I think I need that for my memory function.
I tell you, I'm losing my mind, so I need to do a lot more with the herbs, I think. But
Yeah, I could use some
drinking it
help
all
with
day.
my
Research benefits of tulsi. These are medical research, like the NIH. It's a natural immunity booster, reduces fever, reduces cold and cough, and other respiratory disorders, which is why I grow it.
Okay.
Reduces stress and blood pressure. So when I read that, if you're on blood pressure medicine, you may not want to take tulsi because it can crash your blood pressure. It has
wow.
yeah.
So that would be one of the ways that it would
Right.
A contraindicator.
And as anti-cancer properties, which makes me want to dig deeper. What kind of cancer? When you see a claim that an herb addresses cancer, you need to do deep dive research because it'll be a specific type of cancer cell. Okay. It's good for your heart, good for diabetes. But again, if you're a type 1 diabetic, you're going to crash faster than I will as a type 2. So,
okay.
Yeah, type 1s that's real serious diabetes, where not that mine isn't, but that's one thing that you need to look into. So
Okay.
if you're on anti-clotting medications, blood clotting medications, please be aware that you should not take tulsi in any form. Tulsi can damage your liver, stain your teeth, impact fertility in men and women, and do not take it if you're pregnant.
Well, see, there you go. So that's just proof that all herbs are not good for everyone, right? So it depends on your specific situation or your specific circumstance as to how and why you are consuming or want to consume an herb for a medicinal purpose.
Right.
So
So
does anyone have any questions about the basils before we go on to another herb? If anyone has any questions about any of the basils we just talked about, you can put your question in the chat. If not, we will go on to the next herb. Type 1 is often from birth, and type 2 is typically developed later. That's what Gary
I
said.
know some type 1s that were not born with it, or they weren't aware that they had it when they were babies, but developed in childhood. It's frequently called childhood diabetes, and it's really bad news. So Phoenix mentioned a little bit earlier,
David says, does it apply to all kinds of basil?
the contraindications, no, just for the Tulsi. But if you do contraindications with basil using the Latin name, David, it should give you, if there are any contraindications, you should be able to find what they are and apply them to your own situation.
Seed pudding from holy basil seeds. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, basil seed, when it's wet, gets slimy. So it's going to be like a chia seed. And
Okay.
yeah, in Asia, you can get basil in a drink, and it's kind of slimy, but it's weirdly satisfying. So,
That's the seed in a drink or the leaves?
ma'am,
Is that the seed in the drink or the leaves?
it's the seed.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
if you go to Asian grocery stores, also sell it like where we would buy Coca-Cola and stuff that's really healthy, right? They've got it in the cabinets, and you'll look at it and go,
Okay.
what's that floating in it? And it's the basil seed.
I've never seen it like that. Mike said it gels like chia.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
chia kind of makes everything slide right out of you, doesn't it? Whoosh. Any other questions?
Like boba.
Yeah, Garden State Gardener cracking up. Yeah, whoosh. Whee! Yeah, okay. So you want to talk about roses now? I love roses.
Surprisingly, I don't grow any roses on my property. Not yet.
All you need is to plunk a bush in and it grows itself.
Yeah.
But there's specific types of roses you really want if you're going to be drinking it or making rose jam or rose syrup or tea. So if you make tea from rose, that's one that only takes 5 minutes of steeping.
Okay.
It'll calm an upset stomach. It'll calm diarrhea. Take care of a sore throat or a cough. You can infuse white wine with rose petals for headaches and depression. Non-medicinal benefits of rose petals are aromatherapy, and you can use it in a face wash if you've got oily skin. It's nutrient-rich, astringent, diuretic, and anti-inflammatory. It'll uplift your spirits. It's really an herb for women. And I find rose petals with Tulsi, black leaf Tulsi, to be oddly calming and satisfying. And so if I've had a stressful day, I'll boil some of that up. Again, if it's got Tulsi in it, you've got to steep it for 15 to 20 minutes.
So if you do the Tulsi in combination with the rose, you steep it for the longer of the two because
Exactly.
the Tulsi has to go for 15 minutes.
Right.
Okay.
But I'll also do that concoction and then freeze it into popsicles for summer.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Mhm.
That's a nice, cool little snack
It
on
is.
a hot day. And
So
it's beneficial.
it helps you with PMS if you're a sufferer of that. I don't do that anymore, so I don't have to worry. It's can be used in tinctures and glycerides and honeys, ox milks and syrups, vinegars and hydrosols. The medicinal parts of the plant are the flowers, petals. Some roses produce rose hips that are very high in vitamin C, root bark, and essential oil. But you'll have to look into that yourself. Take each aspect and research it. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the heart treatments because I haven't verified that. Treatment for menstrual bleeding, digestive problems. And the North American Indian tribes use a decoction of the root of ardementia as a cough remedy. I need it, huh? You have to watch out though because it is a laxative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those of us who get depressed, rose oil will help you fight your depression. Um, and like it says, special complaints of women. That's a kind of
That's
tactful way.
interesting.
Okay. Any questions on rose?
Lori says, can you use any rose?
Um, yes, you can. But the more scent, the more flavor you'll have. And when you pick the leaves, pick them after the morning dew has dried and cut off, when you separate the rose petals from the rose, cut off the white part that connected to the calyx because that's bitter. So you cut that off and then do with it whatever you want to do with it. Um, make sure that hey Dana, um, make sure that your roses were raised without systemic chemicals. A lot of people who will feed the commercial rose food or spray the plant or treat the plant for pests are using systemic poisons. And you definitely don't want to ingest that. My culinary roses are, they're hungry most of the time. Um, and I might give them some fish emulsion or a blood meal, but that's all they get, that and rainwater. So be aware. If you buy commercial roses, don't harvest the roses your first year. Let all that chemical get out of their system. So any other questions? Homestead Aquarius says rose oil sounds like a built-in air freshener.
Right. Lori says she's had them poison-free for at least 2 years.
Absolutely. What type do you have? I grow damask roses, which are the roses from Syria that the Orthodox Christians use to make that incense that they put in the lanterns that they swing during the liturgy. It has the most delightful scent.
Interesting. So what are the healthiest rose to grow?
I like the climbing fragrant or musk roses.
Musk roses.
Mm-hmm.
Is that spelled just like?
If you like the way it smells, you're going to like the way it tastes. And, you know, some roses smell different. So stick your nose in a blossom and see if it pleases you.
Oh, she said they were all there when they bought the place.
Do they have a scent? A lot of people plant what's known as knockout roses, and those have been hybridized. They don't have a scent. They're pretty to look at, but there's no scent to them.
So do knockout roses don't have the same benefits?
That's correct.
So they're like an imitation rose.
Yeah. They're real roses. It's just the benefits have been removed for visual.
Got it. Some are scented and some are not. So the scented ones are the ones that you want.
The more scent, the better.
The stronger the scent, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. Because.
But again, stick your nose in it. And if you don't like the smell, you're not going to like the way it tastes.
Abe Lincoln rose. What about that one?
I'm not familiar with the Abe Lincoln rose.
If it smells good, then it's okay. As long as it has a scent.
Yeah. Don't say that, Phoenix. If you're from the African continent, then you've got some really nice old world roses. Anyone else?
So we're going to do chamomile next.
German chamomile.
Yes, I think a lot of people are familiar with German chamomile.
Matricaria chamomilla. Right? Is that how you would say that? That's
how I would say it. Yeah, Matricaria chamomilla.
So those of you who have severe allergies to asters, anything in the aster family, this is part of the Asteraceae family. then you need to be careful when you're taking any of the herbs that are related to asters, okay? Because you may trigger an allergic reaction. Um, Chamomile, most of us are familiar with it because it helps you relax, and a cup of chamomile tea at night can help you relax. I mix chamomile with lavender, and I rarely finish my cup of tea. I'm snoozing on the couch. When I drink that, I don't know if it's the tea or the fact that I'm getting older and I just falling asleep in front of the TV. But so it helps calm gastrointestinal disturbances, including flatulence. So maybe give some to your husband before bedtime. I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. Indigestion, diarrhea, anorexia, motion sickness, nausea, and vomiting. It's been used to treat colic and fevers in children. Now, I use it in the greenhouse as an antibacterial, antifungal. And what I'll do is I'll steep probably half a cup of chamomile flowers to a regular pot of tea, and I'll just let it sit for an hour or so. And then I end up with a very highly concentrated, deep amber liquid that I strain. I put in an empty soda bottle, 2-liter bottle. And then when I mix it up to spritz it on my plants, I'll put a quarter of the bottle that you're spritzing from with the tea, and then fill it the rest of the way up with water, shake it, and I spray that on my seedlings, my young plants, because it helps them fight the damping off.
Right.
So
And it's the same for when you companion plant with chamomile, right?
there are, but I don't. Do you know off the top of your head what chamomile complements?
Well, I heard that it have those same properties when you companion plant it with things like that are susceptible to like powdery mildew and things. So if you plant it with your like squash or maybe your cucumbers or something like that, things that are more prone to those types of diseases, that if you plant chamomile with it, that it can counteract the
Here,
mildew.
here in the part of Georgia I'm in, it burns up by the time those things get going. It gets so hot
Okay.
and so dry here. So I grow it like at this time of year, and already we're seeing temperatures into the 80s. So if I had planted some this year and I didn't, it would be already turning black and brown on me. So what I have discovered through my coursework with the Chestnut School is some things sound wonderful when you're going through the modules and you go, oh, I'm going to grow that, and that. And then you learn how much you have to grow in order to get enough of a harvest for it to benefit you. So I've learned, okay, I don't want to dedicate space because I'm in a residential neighborhood and my space is limited. So I've got to figure out what do I have room for that I'll actually use that'll give me enough plant matter to dry some for tea, to make tincture and whatever. So then I turned to Mountain Rose Herbs. Are you all familiar with mountainroseherbs.com?
No.
For things like chamomile that I don't want to dedicate the space to. Does that make sense?
Okay. So you buy it dried already.
Right. I buy it. You can buy it tea form, dried form, powder. If you want to pack your own little pill casings. But
Okay.
so Phoenix loves German chamomile. Do you drink it often? Yeah. Too many beans. Oh, that's Charlie, y'all. Reflect on light. He's eating beans for dinner, so he's getting chamomile before bed tonight, for sure.
Here's the link for Mountain Rose.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah. Thanks, Gary and Canadian Family Life for stopping in.
And Belt Loop's on his way out too.
So if you don't have the space to grow the herbs, or maybe it's too late in the season, or like Lisa said, she has a time in her season where it's too hot and the chamomile will burn up. So if you haven't if you haven't grown it already and you haven't harvested enough to save it, then maybe you can purchase it and still do what Lisa is talking about. You can still get the same benefits from it and still be able to make teas and what have you with the different herbs. So
Right.
even though you're not growing the chamomile, you can probably purchase the chamomile already dried, and you can do it that way. So you
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to be growing it and harvesting it yourself. You can actually buy those things already dried. Virginia fruit grower, thanks for coming in.
I have
Blue
5 people
Vine,
watching on my
thank you
feed.
for coming in.
Raymond likes mountain rose
He
herbs.
said, I support mountain rose herbs. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Blessings from Illinois. Thanks for coming in.
We
I
haven't
thought
talked about
sneezing.
dandelion yet, but I buy roasted dandelion root from Mountain Rose, a pound at a time.
Okay, so yeah, I've heard that you can make coffee with that. So does anyone have any questions about the German chamomile? Hello, Rick. Thanks for coming in. We're talking about German chamomile right now.
Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole. So does anyone have any questions about the German chamomile? Lisa just talked about how it can help with digestive systems and motion sickness and nausea and vomiting. It helps in children. Chamomile is a wonder. Huga Homestead, thanks for coming in. Mike's chaotic garden said it makes him sleepy. It tastes better than coffee.
Charlie is getting ahead of us. He's talking
Yeah,
about roasted dandelion root.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've never had it. Nicole
So
said, I have chamomile growing now. Will it flower before it gets too hot?
I don't know. How fast are you turning warm? We're already seeing 80,
He's
85
in
degrees.
Houston.
Houston's kind of parallel to us. But you tell me, what are your daytime highs? The weather's crazy.
It is.
No
So
longer do we have a
does,
gentle introduction to spring. It just boom, it's hot.
does chamomile only bloom once in the year?
Um, Seeing as I've never got it to survive the summer, I can't answer that. Maybe
Okay,
someone in the chat who lives further north, that the chamomile keeps going, because there is a perennial chamomile, and I can never remember if it's German or Roman chamomile. That's the
okay,
perennial, but does it keep blooming further north? Because here in Georgia, it goes, I give up and goes away. So,
okay. So it doesn't come back for you. You have to replant it every year.
right, which means I'm ordering it. I'm not going to dedicate the space. And then,
Okay. So if you're in a little bit of a milder climate, um, then perhaps it will come back every year. And it will probably reseed itself, won't it?
I don't know if it reseeds or if it's a perennial. Let me look.
Because I know chamomile can get a little bushy.
Okay, so which chamomile we're talking about? Matricaria, Matacaria, which is the German. It's the
The German one. Yes.
Roman chamomile, which is Okay, I'm gonna cut and paste this. I can't say this. This is the perennial. I'm gonna put it down in the chat. Is that okay?
Okay.
So how do you say that?
Chamomellum nobile.
Yeah,
Nobile.
that's the
Nobile.
perennial.
So that would be the perennial variety.
Right.
Chamomile nobile.
Nicole, which chamomile are you growing? Roman or German?
She's growing the German.
If she's doing German, it's gonna bloom and then peter out on you. It's gonna go poof.
Hopefully it will bloom
Or
before, yeah. So the Roman chamomile is the one that is the perennial.
right.
That That's the Roman chamomile. So the German chamomile is going to be your annual. It's going to bloom and then it's going to die off, and you're going to have to replant it every year, unless you let the blooms fall and perhaps it will reseed itself. You never know. Depending on your climate and how harsh your winters are, you
Yeah,
know, you never
when
know.
I've grown it, about the time it starts to bloom, with the way the global warming is going, and we're not gently going into spring and summer temps, we went from freezing to 85 degrees in a matter of 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Lori said in Canada, and she said her chamomile bloomed long into the fall last year.
that's really nice, Lori. Was it the German or was it the Roman? That's the key question, though. Did it come back, or will it come back?
Thanks for coming in, Sweeney's Creek.
How do you say it? Sukyoku? It looks Japanese.
Sukyoku. Sukyoku. Yes.
So that's my question for you, Nicole. She's going to
So
try some Roman.
she said she's going to try the Roman next time.
Let us know how it goes.
And she's in Houston, so maybe she can get it to come back every year.
Nicole, try Strictly Medicinal Herbs. Ordering from strictlymedicinalherbs.com. See if they've got Roman and German. Okay. So what's our next herb?
So next on the list, if nobody has any more questions about the chamomile, let's see, too early to tell if he'll come back, but I have my fingers crossed. Okay. So then the next one on the list is garden sage.
Salvia officinalis, one of my favorites.
My favorites too. I have 2 sage that come back every year.
I had 2 very nice bushes that gave me big, huge green leaves.
Oh yes.
From sub-zero temperatures this year. Wiped them out. I lost a lot
Really?
of sub-zero.
I mean, I live in zone 5 and I get some pretty harsh winters. And my sage comes back every year. But it's probably has been accustomed to my climate. You know what I mean?
Right.
So your sage probably was not expected, and it
Right.
probably didn't. Yeah.
Again, we went from daytime highs of the 70s, high 70s, to sub-zero like within 48 hours. And it stayed cold for 2 weeks around.
That's a shock, for sure. Let's see, my sage is coming back. Should my chamomile be coming back if it's going to?
If it's the Roman, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So why do I like sage? Well, sage is an antiviral. And I kid you not, even though I'm sick now, and I'll tell you why, we didn't even have sniffles through the pandemic. I was taking all my herbal remedies, my immune system boosters, fire cider, if you know what that is. Every time we had to go out in public, I came home and I would eat a piece of honey fermented garlic.
Right.
And I wasn't sick. So this year, what did I do? I went back to work last spring, and I work at the Home Depot. So I deal with the public all day long. And what did I do? I got lazy and I haven't been taking my herbs. And right away, I got the flu. So we took 2 COVID tests, and it's not COVID, it's whatever respiratory thing's going on. And because of my breathing problems, I can't shake the cough. And this is what happens to me when I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize. And I just started a week ago back on my immune system boosters. I've got elderberry stuff in here, elderberry syrup, the mullein, what did I say? Thyme, eucalyptus, and
eucalyptus.
Yeah. So Well, most adults can use garden sage in large doses for up to 12 weeks without any bad side effects. It's used in creams, ointments, sprays, and mouth rinses. But as a tea, and ladies, listen up, it helps with hot flashes after 8 weeks of drinking it every day. But
Oh, wow.
you need to look at the precautions. You steep it for 5 minutes. Yeah, Michelle, my allergies are bad too. Um,
So
okay,
that's a 5 minute one?
that's a 5 minute steep, and it
Okay.
decreases inflammation and blood sugar levels, which means what, diabetics? Watch your take your blood sugar if you're going to be drinking sage tea, which is delicious, by the way. It smells awful. You pick a sage leaf and smell it; it stinks. It smells
I
like,
love the smell of sage.
really, to me, it smells like sweaty feet.
Oh, I love sage.
But the flavor in a tea is great. Yeah, full of nutrients and balances blood sugar levels. But for those of us on insulin, and I take 5 shots a day of insulin, I've got to really watch the things that lower your blood sugar. Raymond's telling us it supports brain health.
I need some brain health.
I do too. It helps fight gum disease if you gargle it or swish it.
Okay.
And some people inhale sage steam for asthma. So what do you think of that? No, it has high
So
vitamin
is that for like if they're steeping it, then the steam from the tea, they're inhaling the steam?
steam, right?
Okay.
So you boil it and get it steaming, and you take a towel and you put it over your head and go over.
Right.
Don't burn yourself, but inhale that. So Nicole Smith she's going through menopause. And I call it the change of life that gives men pause, right? Because they don't want anything to do with you. Uh, so the sage will help you, but also pink or red clover tea. Okay. So that's a hormone balancer. And long after menopause, or even if you have difficult periods where you have the mood swings, you start drinking your clover tea 3 days before your period. So I've already been through menopause. I'm done with that. But I still have problems, I know, because Charlie will look at me every now and then and say, "Would you like some clover tea, dear?" Yeah, and that's right. Raymond made a good point when he's talking about Ceylon cinnamon. There, there are different types of cinnamon. You don't want the cinnamon that is not Ceylon. Ceylon is a stronger cinnamon, and it'll help with the blood sugar. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Again, Nicole, if you can't grow the clover, mountain rose herbs, and it tastes good. It's kind of got a vanilla flavor to it, but we're ahead of ourselves, aren't we, Adrian? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can you add sage to another tea or herb to
Oh,
better the smell or taste?
yeah, I put tulsi in a lot of things, or sage and fennel, or um, it's got a very distinct flavor. So if you mix an herb that has a delicate flavor, you're not going to taste it.
Okay.
Sage, yeah. Okay.
All right. So
So,
that was
where's Raymond? Raymond, are you a herbalist? You seem to know a lot. Charlie's heard that joke I said about the, the clover. I think it's funny.
she loves that joke. So does anyone have any questions about the sage? Garden sage. I have tulsi and fennel in the garden right now.
Right. Now, Nicole, the Tulsi is a perennial. So don't let it freeze. Dig it up in the fall and put it in a big old pot, and it should be with you the next spring. Bring it in.
So Raymond is a certified master herbalist.
That is correct. I mean, that is great. So, Raymond, if I say something funky, let me know. Okay? Correct me. I'm always open to learning.
All right. So if there's no more questions on the sage, we'll go on to the next one. And that brings us to the fennel.
Okay. Tackle this word.
Foeniculum vulgare.
Oh, you do so much better than I do. Okay, thank you, Raymond. So, Raymond, I'm going to put you on the spot now that I know you probably know more than I do. Fennel is in the carrot family. So, Raymond, yeah.
That's
and
interesting.
while I'm talking, running my mouth, I'm going to have Raymond tell us what other plants are in the carrot family that will kill you deader than a doorknob.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, Raymond, tell us what we should absolutely learn to identify and stay away from. Please. Please. Okay. I do have to warn you that if you plant fennel in your garden, plant it away from everything else because it puts out a chemical that will kill plants around it.
Oh, wow.
And it is a perennial. And if you plant what we call here in Georgia dog fennel, it goes like 6 or 7 feet tall. Okay? Now, most of you know that follow me, and if you don't follow me yet, please do. We're beekeepers, and the bees absolutely adore the fennel. And they'll cover it while it's blooming, and then the seeds come out, and I collect the seeds, and I make all sorts of things with the fennel. Yeah. But medicinally, and if you use it as a tea, this is one you're going to have to steep 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay? But side effects of fennel, I developed a liver tumor. Doctors telling me
to take this and take that.
Yeah, Phoenix, if you've got complications like that, you really need to do your deep dive research before you start taking any herb in concentration.
Right.
Okay. And I can relate as a fellow diabetic. Yeah. So side effects of fennel, it can cause difficulty breathing. So I guess yours truly needs to stay away from it, right? Charlie's telling us how to kill Socrates. Okay, it gives you a tightness in your chest and your throat. Gives you chest pain, nausea, vomiting, hives or rash, or itchy and swollen skin. Hold my beer.
Must work and play well with others. Fennel. Not working and playing well with others.
That's hilarious.
Hello, Stock Explorer. Thanks for coming in.
Milk thistle is a good one.
That is awesome, Phoenix. Milk thistle. And eating fresh fruits and veggies.
Okay, any other comments on fennel?
So fennel, we steep for 10 minutes. We can use it as a tincture, an essential oil, but the easiest way is to use it as a tea.
Yeah, but I don't talk about it. I do grow it, but it's for my bees. Okay. Right. And because of it, everything it touches off as a side effect is something that I need help with. So I don't need to consume anything that's going to shut my.
Well, fennel is a little touchy. You don't. What is fennel? What is fennel good for then?
You know, I didn't even research that because I can't take it. Isn't that kind of concentrating on myself too much?
If it causes all of those
digestive, endocrine, reproductive, and respiratory. And it also helps you lactate if you're breastfeeding.
Huh.
Next one is an interesting one.
She said, I love you for loving bees.
Oh, thank you. It's my husband's fault.
So
I used
Raymond says that fennel seeds support excellent digestion and help purify the blood. So the fennel seed is what you want to use.
exactly.
Okay, so that's how you use the fennel. You use the seed
Exactly.
instead of using the plant as a plant or as a tea or whatnot. The fennel seeds is where you will get the most benefit.
Charlie likes it cooked with fish.
Cook with
That's
fish.
the leaf. That's using the leaf. But it's
Lori said it tastes fantastic in pizza sauce.
yeah, it can. It can. But ever since I learned how to make a brown butter tomato sauce, I have.
Oh.
Oh, don't even get me started. I didn't put any tomatoes up last year because every time I could pick a mess, I made the sauce. Because of another YouTube content provider, I saw them do it and tried it and went, oh my God, I'm addicted. Anyway.
All right. So then on to the next one, which is another one of my favorites. Oregano.
Oreganum vulgare. And these herbs that we're talking about are all things that we thought that Adrian and I thought most people may already have in their garden for culinary uses.
Right.
So that's why we're talking about them. If you go to some of these herbal remedy stores, you will see oregano oil, which is a very common way to use it. It helps you with allergies. Okay. You can dilute it in olive oil and rub it on sore muscles or your joints for pain relief. It can be diluted and rubbed on athlete's foot as an antifungal, which is a good way to use it. It helps you fight pneumonia and bronchitis, so I could probably use some right now. For external infections, the internet tells us that you can apply 2 to 3 diluted drops to the affected area of where you have a bacterial or fungal infection. So 2 to 4 drops twice a day for up to 10 days. Oregano leaves and flowers are used to treat cuts and burns. The oregano itself contains thymol. Bye, Robert. Let me know if those turtle eggs hatch. Sorry, distracting. Thymol is a crystalline substance that is an antiseptic. Oregano oil helps with respiratory and stomach ailments. It has a tea, respiratory and stomach ailments. So, what do you do for tea? You use 3 teaspoons of dry oregano leaves. Okay, so you dry them. Add your boiling water and steep for 10 minutes. Adrian, I could see you're thinking the steam's coming out your ears. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm thinking about the oregano.
Do you have a lot of it?
Yeah, I'd have a pretty big bush. It comes back every year, so it's just getting bigger and bigger.
And Greek oregano is my favorite.
It is my favorite too.
Scent.
I love it. I love to use oregano in a lot of things, especially if I make fish or lamb. I like to use oregano and garlic and lemon.
Yeah.
I love that combination in just a lot of things. Fish, chicken. I'll put it in on pasta noodles. Just that whole combination. That's my favorite.
Nicole says she'd like to try the Greek oregano. It's the absolute best. But Raymond is giving us some medical advice there.
So for every 1 ounce of carrier oil, which is going to be whatever you use to
Olive
make
oil.
your, oh yeah, olive oil is the most common. Yeah, carrier oil. So if you're when you're making your essential oils or whatnot, you can use your olive oil. You can do 3 to 7 drops of the oregano essential oil.
Charlie says don't smoke it.
Oh wow, don't smoke it. I didn't think about smoking it.
He's a spank. I'm growing with
I
Hudson.
said, I want to try Greek oregano. I have the common oregano, and it just doesn't have the oils and aroma. It's
Exactly.
too bland.
I've seen the Home Depot carry the Greek oregano.
Okay. I have bronchitis and had a flare up in 2021 and was
Yeah,
told to use the oil of oregano 3 weeks, and it worked.
yeah, I
That is
need to get some.
Phoenix said Greek oregano has a fan club.
Doesn't it?
Hey Hudson. Q, hey Q. Happy birthday. It was Hudson's birthday, Q's birthday a little was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Happy birthday. Thanks for coming in.
Raymond says use jojoba. Raymond, is jojoba okay to be ingested though? Jojoba oil is what he's saying. I don't know if that's safe for ingestion.
I'm guessing.
It's used in makeup lotions and hair products. It's
Yeah,
edible, but the body does not digest it. So I guess my memory's not as bad as I thought it was.
there you go. It was yesterday.
Coconut oil and olive oil, you're safe.
Yeah, the most common one for me is the olive oil.
Well, someone at my mosque is from Morocco, and they turned me on to Moroccan olive oil, and now I can't buy any other brand. It's so wonderful. Um, oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I accidentally muted myself. Sorry.
Were you cursing?
No.
Because you know one way to hear cursing is a bar of soap in
No, I accidentally muted myself.
the mouth. I'm just teasing you. Let's talk about lavender.
So, are there any more questions about oregano? He said topically, topically,
The jojoba for topically.
topically. Yeah. So that would be like in the case of we were talking about joints and pain relief and sore muscles. Then you could use the essential oil diluted in the
Jojoba.
jojoba oil.
So Raymond,
And
let me ask you: is jojoba oil, is it slick or is it kind of sticky? And while he's working on that, hey Annie.
hello, Annie's Kitchen. Only topical for the jojoba oil. Okay, are there any more questions about the oregano and how you can use it and how you can't? Oregano's one for what, 10 minutes you said?
Is that what I said? 5 minutes I've got here.
5 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes on the oregano then.
Oh, I skipped one. Hold on. Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. All right, so then on to the next one.
Time.
The next one is thyme. Whoops, my,
I love thyme. I make bread with thyme.
do you?
Yeah, I'll chop rosemary and thyme together and mix it into like a pizza dough, with,
Okay,
and then roll it flat and slap it on the grill. Good stuff.
that sounds delicious. Hello, David Corey.
So, hey David, Charlie says if he could save time in a bottle.
Right.
Those of us who are over 50 will know what he's talking about. Um, Thyme is one of my favorite herbs. I like lemon thyme. Uh, you can place it on your skin like you do Vicks Vapor Rub.
Okay.
help you with hoarseness. It helps with swollen tonsils. You swish it around your mouth. It helps with bad breath or sore mouth. It's a germ killer in mouthwash. Um, if you're getting a bald spot like is, you rub it on your noggin, grow your hair back.
Wow.
Yeah, it also is used to fight ear infections. You put it in a carrier oil and just put 1 drop or 2 drop is what I do.
Mhm.
On the rare occasion, I have an ear infection and I can't find my mole in it. Right.
Okay.
But if you have cholesterol problems and blood sugar problems, steep it as a tea for 5 minutes and drink that, and it supposedly reduces your cancer risk. Which cancer? I'm not sure. Raymond, do you know which cancer that the thyme addresses? I put him on the spot. He's going to curse telling us that he was certified. Hey, Dark Lord Mitt. I see you. Lynette has lemon thyme. Yeah, give it a try. Let us know if you sprout fuzzies. Any questions on thyme? Or is everyone falling asleep by now?
Raymond said thyme is excellent. It has the
That's thyme.
chemical thymol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, David,
Purchase
David's
and
bringing up the
comfortable.
toothpick plant. I've got that in my greenhouse right now. That tall. Fuzzies are fun. Oh. Okay, Charlie, if you keep quoting from music from our adolescence, I'm going to make you sing. He sings well. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. So what's next? Let's talk about lavender. Lavandula.
Okay, let's talk about lavender.
So lavender is, I want to say it's my favorite herb. It might just be my favorite herb. It is sedative. It's relaxing. It's a mood enhancer. It's an immune system booster. I like the flavor. Um, for my birthday one year, Charlie infused honey from his beehives with lavender for me. He did rose honey and a lavender honey.
Ooh.
Yeah. I cook with it. When I roast duck, I'll take lavender blossoms and grind them up and put them over the duck, and then ladle my honey fermented cranberry with ginger and turmeric and roast that. And you walk in my front door and you want to just lay on the couch and go to sleep. But as far as lavender, it's a very Victorian herb used to calm children. So if you have, do women still wear pads or little knee-high pantyhose?
I still do.
So if you have lavender blossoms or lavender fronds, you can dry the leaves and roll them up, so that they powder. Put them in your knee high and tie it off. And if you've got a baby that's crying and won't go to sleep, or if you're having trouble dropping off, pin it to your pillow. And that's
Oh,
what the Victorian English used to do that to make the kids shut in the evening. Here,
wow.
snip this and go to sleep.
Is that why all the baby products, like the baby bath products and different things, are all like lavender scented?
More than likely, yes. I never had children, so I'm not familiar with those products. But
I
it works. It really works. And I'll mix lavender, dried lavender, with the chamomile. Yeah,
Stuffed pillows full of lavender.
yeah.
Wow.
Phoenix, there is a cookbook. Maybe I can get Charlie to go get it out of the kitchen for you. It's cooking, gourmet cooking for diabetics. It gives like 4 different lavender-based meals, and one of them features fish and lavender and honey with butter drizzled over asparagus and potatoes. I tell you what, send me an email and I'll send you the recipes. How's that sound? Yes, David.
Your husband won't let you grow lavender. Why not, Michelle?
Yeah. It's a
Won't
nice
let you
perennial.
grow lavender.
You just have to remember to give the lavender plant plenty of air circulation or it damps off. So David's using my name. What do you want to say, Dave?
He's just saying hello.
Ah, hello. David's one of my favorite people. Don't forget to go over to my channel and thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That'd be great.
Don't put essential oils on preteen boys' sheets, etc.
Yeah, but something against man boobs?
Because it's estrogenic.
No.
Mike said lavender is estrogenic.
What are you going to do? Eat it by the gallon? So if you've got a problem with diarrhea, nausea, lavender tea, that's a 10-minute steep. And if you don't want to grow it, it's easily found in tea form. Walmart has it. Of course, Amazon, but not everyone likes Amazon.
Yeah. Eases symptoms of diabetes too.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I like it. Maybe it eases my symptoms and I don't realize it. Anyone have any questions about lavender? There are different types of lavender. There's English and French and other varieties. You just have to...
Antidepressant, relaxant, promotes rest. The essential oil can be applied topically for pain relief, sore muscles, great for burns, bruises, and scars. You're right, Dark Lord, because my husband does not like Walmart.
It's not the right one, but thank you.
It's got the right name.
It wasn't the right ones. It says gourmet diabetic cooking or diabetic cooking for the gourmet or something like that. She planted. Growing with Hudson's planted both lavenders. Do you prefer one over the other? Thank you, Raymond. David, she put you. David's feeling weird. He saw himself up in your window.
I can see myself.
Okay, people aren't very excited about the lavender. Here comes a surprising one.
All right.
Borage.
Borage. I'm going to be growing borage for the first time this year. I'm adding that to my garden.
Borago officinalis, B-O-R-A-G-O officinalis is the Latin name. And I have seed in my greenhouse for the traditional blue borage and white borage. Dark Lord Man, it's a plant that grows, I want to say, about 2.5 feet tall. Would you say that's about right, Adrian?
Yeah.
Hairy stem. The bees love it. You want to plant it in your garden to attract your pollinators. People who drink a lot of gin may pick the blossoms and float them around in their gin and tonic. The stems, once you blanch them, and you're going to want to blanch them because they have hairs on them, or at least take a potato peeler and peel the outside off. They kind of taste like cucumber. But it's used for eczema, as David just told us. Let's see, it's good for your central nervous system. It supports your adrenal glands. if you are anxious, I have anxiety, and it kind of helps calm you down. Uh, it kind of helps you rebuild your nervous system, from what I understand. What do you think, Raymond? Um, Phoenix can't find me. You can't. Our Georgia Suburban Homestead, Phoenix. Adrian, do you have a link to me?
I thought I typed it. I didn't.
David brought up burdock root, which I grow. That's very healthy, and it's not on our list to discuss tonight. If Adrian wants to have me back, I can come back and talk if y'all send me what you want to hear about, or even I can do a broadcast.
Right. If we run out of time, we can finish it over on Lisa's channel. I'll put a link to her channel in the description there. So that's the link there to our Georgia Suburban Homestead. That's Lisa and Charlie. For anyone who wants to subscribe.
So I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit, if that's okay, Adrian.
Yeah, go ahead.
But if you're using borage seed, it can help you with eczema, psoriasis, asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, gastrointestinal, diabetic nerve pain, menopausal symptoms, depression, and I've already said diabetes. Okay, but side effects can be nausea, indigestion, headaches, and rashes. So again, look for your contraindications in borage.
So Growing with Hudson said she wants to know about Solomon seal.
We grow that. That's for another broadcast, I think.
So I'll write that down. I'll write some down that
you're gonna keep track of what people want.
Yeah, that we can add to the next broadcast. So we'll do Solomon.
Burdock.
Yeah, what was that one up? It was further up. Burdock root.
Burdock root. I grow moringa, by the way. In fact, last year, David, I was taking moringa seedlings and braiding stems, and they came through the winter. They're really sad looking right now, and I'm hoping if they'll leaf out and look like I want them to, then I'll do a video. So watch for that.
Marshmallow plant. I just jumped on moringa.
I've got yarrow. Is the last herb I've got on my list to talk about before we go to what I call fancy schmancy herbs. Ones that you may not have heard about.
Let's see. So wait, after borage is hyssop.
I've got borage oil and then into yarrow. It's a horehound, David, and that's on the list. I'll talk about horehound in a moment.
Oh, you're right. I don't know how I got hyssop all the way up there.
I don't know.
You're right. Okay. So yarrow is next.
Achilles millefolium. Achillea millefolium. Or folium. Red yarrow. Has a strong history of medicinal uses. It's to intensifying the healing work of other herbs. So you want to mix it with other healing herbs. It can be used to help stop bleeding and to help your skin heal. Meadow rue. You use the flowers, leaves, and stems. It's collected while in bloom. This is another thing that you need to know when you're growing medicinal herbs is when do you harvest, what part of the plant do you harvest, how do you process it? Because some you need to harvest in the fall, some need to be harvested in the spring. Some that you want to walk away from when they're blooming, some you want to wait until they bloom. Again, each use, even the same plant, you pick it at different stages of growth, will address a different problem you may have. So again, this just to talk about it in one broadcast it's impossible to cover all the bases.
Right.
if you go and you watch the live where I show you how to do your basic research, it's going to open doors and you'll come up with more questions to dig deep on.
Mm-hmm.
Do sign up for a course like the one offered at Chestnut School. It's pricey, it's several $1,000s, but you'll come away with a rudimentary understanding. Raymond, do you know Seven Song, a Native American herbalist? I think he just retired, but his courses are very good. So it's the number 7 and then Song beside him, and he's from up above Ithaca, New York. Wealth of knowledge. Have you heard of an insulin plant? Yeah, the insulin plant, Phoenix, some people call it wild thyme or Cuban oregano, and which also helps with coughing. I'll have to write that down. Cuban oregano. Again, you're a type 1 diabetic, and you're much more sensitive and at higher risk than I am experimenting with the herbs. So please contact a certified, licensed doctor of natural medicine. When I was supposed to qualify myself,
Are your dogs fighting, Lisa?
I used to write for MDNR, which is what the naturopathic doctors read. So I've got knowledge from there too. Dead nettle. I've got dead nettle. Yeah, is that on our list? No.
I believe it is. I believe it is, yes.
Okay. Side effects of yarrow. Causes drowsiness and increased urination. Not a good combination, eh? I didn't get a giggle out of Adrian on that. Can cause contact dermatitis, which is skin irritation. And if you get any kind of irritation from it, stop using it. Oh, the dogs?
Yes,
They're talking.
they're loud.
Sassy has a lot to say tonight. So the flavonoids in yarrow cause saliva. So you'll be drooling,
Oh, wow.
falling asleep, and peeing yourself. How's that
Oh,
for
my
Sassy?
goodness.
I don't use yarrow. But you can use it to help fight colds and fever, and
So
help you
is it
detox.
like a muscle relaxer?
No, it's more of a detox, a liver cleaner.
Wow.
Guys, really? Someone give me some lavender for the dogs. Let's go into fancy schmancy.
I thought these were more of like stuff that you can forage for. Because like I've got this in my yard in the spring. This comes up all in my yard.
Not to be confused with African violet, okay? Yeah, Phoenix is iffy with doctors. Well, find a DO. Growing with Hudson thought he was hearing things. Yeah, you're hearing things. You're hearing the dogs.
Raymond, do you have a channel or do you have content on your channel? That's what Q wants to know. She wants to know if you have any content.
Yes, growing with Hudson. That's Brucey the garden cat. That's his garden. That's my front yard, by the way. Midsummer. That's what all I have. What can you identify in that picture, Adrienne?
The echinacea.
Echinacea.
The daylilies.
Daylilies, which are edible.
Comfrey, is that comfrey back there?
Well, I can't. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah, that way.
That is black peppermint.
Oh, okay. Those leaves are big.
The purple is Japanese shiso.
Okay. I was gonna say like a purple basil, but
And shiso, which is in the mint family. Very unique flavor.
okay. So wild violet.
Wild violet. We got off track, didn't we? You can eat the leaves if you get a little plugged up. It'll help you produce mucus and poop. So you need to move your poops along. That's great. You can infuse it in oil for external use. Right now, I've got a bottle of vinegar. I just scooted around on my butt and picked a lot of violet, and that'll go on salads. The vinegar you can dab on bee stings to take the pain out, and you can infuse it in honey as a cough syrup. Pretty benign uses, right?
Cough syrup. That's a really common use that you could use that for. And a lot of people probably don't realize they have that right in their backyard.
Yeah, and a lot of people spray Roundup on it. Shame on you if you use Roundup.
Yeah, or any type of weed control.
Yeah. So don't kill it. One thing that's interesting is the animal that helps propagate the violet. You know what it is?
Really? Ants?
Yeah. Look up
Interesting.
ants and wild violet propagation and learn the symbiotic relationship the ants have with the violet. It's quite a story.
Okay.
So Raymond, when you get your channel up, please let me know. I'll subscribe. How about you, Adrian?
Absolutely.
Have we eaten nasturtium? Yes, I grow a ton of nasturtium.
Oh yes, they're peppery.
I think Adrian did a broadcast where she talked about companion planting with nasturtium. Don't I remember you doing that, Adrian?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's very peppery. I used to.
Really good in salads.
Yeah, I use it in salads. I'll put herbs in a cream cheese and inject it into the center of the blossom and serve that in a salad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As long as you aren't allergic to them, that's true of anything. Okay. So hyssop. A main part of my business is called Heirloom Herbs and Edible Flowers. I used to grow edible flowers for restaurants and teach chefs how to use the stranger herbs. So I'm all about edible flowers. I mean, I've got them, as you see in the picture, everywhere. Hyssop is one of those edible flowers that is also a biblical herb. And one of the classes I teach is on herbs of the Bible. And I also do herbs of the Quran. It's kind of like cheating because it's the same herbs. But just change your outfit and you're good to go, right? It works. So people use hyssop as a gargle. Okay? If you put it in your bath, it'll cause you to sweat. So if you're trying to detox, if you've had a really hard period and you had a lot of pain in your period and you just want to cleanse yourself, you want to sit in a bath to get you sweating and sweat all that toxin out. David wants to know, have we roasted any of those cabbages with bacon yet? Oh, Nicole. I don't eat bacon, so I don't know. Have you done any bacon with cabbage, Adrian?
Yes, I have done that. I have sauteed it with bacon.
Phoenix says, call the police. Phoenix, I'm all about sharing knowledge or I wouldn't be here. Okay, knowledge is not something you own. It's something you share, right? And if I can help you feel better, make more delicious meals, or make yourself happier, that is what I'm about. Okay. Okay, let's see. Who needs duct tape over their mouth? Okay, back to hyssop.
How long did we say we would steep it for?
I didn't write that down.
I think is it a 5-minute one?
The side effects scare me. Let me let you know what the side effects are before you decide to ingest it. Okay. Soaking it in a tub is one thing, ingesting is another. Um, Hyssop tea may offer, you steep it for 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
Mild benefits for heart health. It decreases inflammation, improves circulation, helps decrease the risk of heart attack, blood clots, blood sugar related disorders. Okay? But the side effects are gastrointestinal upset, and I have ulcerative colitis, so I've got to watch out for those herbs. Anxiety, these are side effects. Tremors, and it can set off seizure disorders. So um, if you're prone to seizures, you don't want to use hyssop, and it's especially dangerous in children with seizure disorders. So again,
Okay.
contraindications, look for side effects, decide if it's something you want to risk. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now,
That's
Raymond
really
said,
good to know. So side effects of hyssop.
thank you, Raymond. I value you and your input, especially when you're telling me I'm not full of BS.
Right.
Okay. So now that leads me to anise hyssop, which is a different plant. So whereas hyssop is Hyssopus officinalis, anise hyssop is Agastache foliculum.
Agastache foeniculum.
Yes, I have this all over the backyard. This is it's a perennial, tender perennial.
Okay.
It has beautiful purple spikes. The bees love it. The leaves taste very anisette. And if I hadn't already used it all this winter, I'd be drinking it right now because it opens your bronchia. Yeah, Drew, Dark Lord's just not catching up. Drew, fall asleep. You put yourself lovely mix. Yeah, you're gonna go out and drink it right away, aren't you?
Oh my gosh.
You're welcome, Raymond. Get me choking.
Okay, okay. So you said you have this agastache all over your yard?
It just came up in my sinuses. Okay. Yes. When I give tours of my gardens, I pick these leaves and have people taste them, and
Ooh,
they love it. Like, can I have some of that? No, but you can grow it. I'll start some for you.
right?
People always wanted me to dig up my plants. Can you imagine? But it's just wonderful for the pollinators, for bronchial problems. Make a vinegar and put it on fruit salad. It's sweet. It's like anisette sweet.
Okay. Like a licorice?
Like a licorice, but not as shocking as licorice is. Does that
Okay.
make sense? Do you
Yeah.
find? Yeah,
It's mild.
it's aggressive. This is a milder anisette.
Okay.
David Gray.
I saw that too.
David, I think you may need to cold stratify the seed. Okay, now David is anise is, you may need to cold stratify to get it to germinate for you.
But I need to find a spot for it.
My butt's getting sore. Okay, what's an herb for that, Raymond? Where did he go? But for it to, the anise hyssop, for it to benefit you as a tea, you've got to let it steep 15 to 20 minutes. That's not a quick tea. It's put it in the pot,
Okay.
boil it 15 to 20 minutes. But you'll like the flavor, I promise you. And sometimes I mix rose petals in with that.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, it is.
The rose.
Okay,
Yeah.
on to what I'm drinking right now. And shall we talk about what herbs I use regularly? I've got props.
It helps to relieve urinary tract infections too, Raymond said. How long should you typically cold stratify seeds that need it?
Different plants need different cold treatments. Some just 3 weeks, some 3 months.
Right.
So ask the internet, how long do I stratify? Like echinacea, I think is 3 months.
3 months.
Dandelion is 6 weeks.
I've never had to plant dandelion. They just come up, so I don't know.
I
I
always
have a whole yard of dandelion.
I broadcast dandelion seed all over my yard, and my neighbors, all the faces they make are so hilarious. But I actually like to be the different one, right? So I bought seed for pink dandelion,
Oh,
which is out of Eastern Europe, and Japanese dandelion, which is white with a yellow center.
oh my
If you
God.
go for dandelion, get a variety, right?
Right. I've heard of the pink one, and I've actually wanted to grow that, but
I'll be back.
I never remember to plant that seed because I just always have regular dandelion growing.
Is
Pink
this showing
Texas
up?
garden.
Why isn't this showing up?
Because you got a green screen. You got to put it in front of you.
Ugh.
There you
Okay,
go.
there we are. Do you know who this is? You gonna name her? She's gonna be in the mail to you.
Oh, is that my comfrey?
That's your Comfrey.
Oh,
I think Comfrey's on our list to talk about soon.
it might be. It might be. I think it is.
Okay, Comfrey.
Okay, Raymond, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge. I hope to see you again soon. Yes, there's many types of dandelion in Texas. I only see the yellow ones here in the Midwest, so it would be cool to grow pink dandelions. I'm just saying.
Are there any Jamaicans in the room?
Hello, Mal. Nice of you to join us. Hello, everyone in the chat. David said that comfrey is great for animals as well.
Yes, but it's extremely dangerous. So we'll get to that when we get to the Comfrey. Okay, so stay tuned.
Okay. So we're done with Anise.
Any
Does anyone have
Jamaicans?
any questions?
Do you know this one, Adrian?
I can't see that one very well.
You ever hear of Jamaican leaf of life?
No.
Now, I'm not going to talk about them in detail, but if you're curious, look up leaf of life uses.
Okay.
It's a succulent.
Oh, it's a succulent. Okay.
And I've got it upside down. Let me see. This is what I brush my teeth with. Who's familiar with neem?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, so you're going to grow a neem tree.
I had a neem. We had several neem trees in pots, and they survived
Okay.
the first 3 years we were here. And then the fourth year, we're standing there watching it snow. And I looked out, and there was my neem trees in the snow.
Oh,
We killed our
those
neem
are
trees.
from what, India?
India.
Yeah. They're native to India.
So we brush our teeth. This is a very Indian toothpaste, but it fights gingivitis and all sorts of things that go on in your mouth. If you get mouth infections and canker sores and things like this, neem will keep that from happening.
Okay.
If you go to Amazon, I know people don't like Amazon, but it's one way to get neem. I buy 3 tubes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But this is very good for your gums. Cassandra from Fulton County isn't here, but she buys this from me.
I've got that too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm about to make this year's batch. So Adrian's got. Have you tried it through the winter? Did you try it on chapped lips or chapped skin?
Oh, yeah, because I work in food service. So I am constantly washing my hands and changing my gloves like all day long. So in the winter, especially, my hands get super dry. So I've been using this all winter long. Yes,
So it works. You like it?
I do. I love it, and it
Okay.
smells great. It smells good.
Well, that's Charlie's honeybees. because I make it with his
Oh,
fresh wax from his beehives. I
okay.
don't put any scent in it. So if y'all are watching and wondering what is owie ointment, it is plantain weed ointment. It's a healing ointment.
So you want to talk about plantain?
We're going to talk about mullein next, and then
Okay.
horehound. But I've got one more plug, and this is one of the last things on our list. It's willow bark ointment, and I'm going to tell you why I'm crazy for using it, and what it does for me and what I have to watch out for. So mullein, that's an Asian herb. A lot of us are familiar with it because it helps with earaches. And mullein leaf, if you dry it and then make tea out of it, like I have here for our broadcast, it's taking care of my cough. What do you think, Adrian? I'm not coughing like I was, right?
Right.
So this is working.
How long would you say it takes to work?
Let's say we've been on the air for how long now? About 1 3/4 hours. So I stopped really violently coughing half an hour ago. So 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, so it works. Well, of course, it's a combination of things. But
Duval said she got some last year at the expo. Duval City Garden Girl. City Girl.
Oh, yeah, the owie ointment. Did you like it? I'm not going to be at the expo this year. I actually have a festival to be at on that same day in Clarkston, Georgia. We help refugees. Some of you know that, and we've got a friend from Afghanistan that we have taught how to turn pens on a lathe. That he's going to be selling his pens through our tent as a kind of employee, so he can make a little bit of money to send home. But so that's allowed me. So I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there to meet a lot of people. But if you get really bored, just come on over to Clarkston. It's only a 5-hour drive.
Only a 5-hour drive.
Yeah. Savannah's about 4 or 5 hours. Growing with Hudson is a future beekeeper. Good for you.
Good for you.
Watch our videos. We have caught 4 swarms this month. 4. That's a lot. So now we went from 1 hive to 5 hives.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. So mullein, what is it? It's used as a tea usually. You use the leaves like I have tonight. You put the blossoms in a carrier oil and put a couple of drops in your ear. If you have an earache, that's a famous use for swimmer's ear.
Yeah.
It's a biennial. So the first year you're harvesting leaves. The second year you do some leaves and then you wait for it to shoot the stalk all the way up with little yellow blossoms up it. And you can dry them. You can dry them dry them and then stuff a jar and pour oil over it. And you've got a carrier oil that's usually good for up to a year shelf life. Okay. Horehound.
Mullein grows wild in my yard.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's another one you have to steep for 15 minutes, by the way. It's a long steep. So if you've got mullein in your yard, start collecting leaves. It'll keep dried by itself. It keeps about a year. If you put it in an oil, it can keep a year. If you make a tincture, it'll keep for a decade. Okay, if you want to look up how to do tinctures with it.
It's got antibiotic properties.
Antibiotic. Let's see. It's good for hemorrhoids. It's good for hemorrhoids if you got them. Incontinence, arthritis. It's high in magnesium, which keeps your muscles and your nerves healthy.
Oh, that's what's in Epsom salt.
Right. And if you have a bedwetter in the family, you give them a little bit of mullein tea, and it should help with incontinence. So horehound, Marubium vulgare. This is one of my favorite herbs.
Never had it. Never grown it.
It tastes terrible. You you def- you you definitely know you're drinking a medicine, and control yourself and your urge to spit it across the room. It's really that bad.
Hmm.
So if you make a tea from it, the dried leaves, you're going to want to use copious amounts of honey and lemon. But as an expectorant, you can't beat it. Um, let's see, what did David just say?
He said, meet you down home for the bees.
In the side of your wall. They're inside your wall. That's another topic. Uh,
That's a different kind of bee.
no, honeybees can get up in your wall and make a real mess. But anyway, horehound, they used to make old time candy, and you could still get horehound cough drops. Um, it's
I've
very
never seen
bitter,
them. You said horehound cough drops.
and it's a very powerful expectorant. It also fights cancer very effectively. But if you're pregnant, don't take it because it causes uterine contractions.
Okay. Wow.
And
Yeah.
when I moved here to Georgia, I was so excited because I could grow it again. I couldn't grow it in South Florida. So when I moved here to Georgia, I went to Strictly Medicinals and bought like 5 plants. And it's a perennial, okay? It came through the freeze we had, and it's just fine in a pot.
Oh, in a pot even.
It's in a pot, in a black pot, 3-gallon pot, and it came back and it's growing great out there.
Wow.
But when I moved here, the change in climate, immediately I got bronchitis. And conventional medicine wasn't helping me. So I went on the horehound, and I knew better to drink it more than 3 or 4 nights in a row. And I was drinking it several. And all of a sudden I started bleeding. And
Oh,
I had just established a doctor, and I went to him, and his first thought was uterine cancer.
really?
So I had to go into the hospital and get a D&C. And of course, now Georgia's passed these arcane abortion laws that I wouldn't be able to get treatment if I got that right now. But I went in, they did a D&C, and they said, "There's not, we don't understand. You had one little, you're ovulating, and you shouldn't be menstruating." But the horehound brought me out of menopause. It reset me.
Wow.
So I had to go through the normal cycle, woman's cycle, for 3 months, and then it stopped and it hasn't come back. So take my story to heart. If you drink too much of it for too long and you're a woman, be prepared for your period to start. If you're pregnant, you will miscarry. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's a scary side effect.
That's a scary thing. Yeah.
But it helps lower your blood sugar. It treats loss of appetite, probably because you want to eat something to get that darn flavor out of your mouth. It aids in indigestion, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation. So if you have poop problems, it'll help you. And liver and gallbladder complaints.
You said, how long did you take it? You said when it started to cause you all those issues.
I want to say about 10 days.
Okay. So how long would you say is the safe time, like the safe amount of time to take it?
That's going to depend on your body and how you react to it. But I take it now when I've got congestion 3 nights
Okay.
at bedtime.
Just 3 nights.
3 nights, and by the 4th day, if I have any of the green stuff to come up, it's come up.
Okay.
Okay, right now I'm not congested. I'm spasmodic in my bronchia. So now I'm switching from horehound to mullein.
Okay.
And you see how it's helped me just during this broadcast.
Right.
Yeah, Nicole says she's trying to hurry along, not come back. Amen, sister. Try doing it 3 times a
Let
night.
snap them and stay away from horehound.
Yeah, but I highly recommend it if you can take it. So look through the contraindications, be mindful of how you're taking it, and have at it. If you're living, I think zone 7 and smaller, you can grow it. It is a European herb brought over by the invaders from Europe, and it's now naturalized most of the Northeast actually. What can you take to get your period to stop? Hysterectomy.
Right.
I'm sorry, that was smart ass. I don't know. I'd have to research, but type in herbal remedy for heavy bleeding.
Hmm.
Google that. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions about horehound before we go on to the next one? Michelle said the local Cracker Barrel sells horehound candies.
There you go. Use that as a cough lozenge.
So is that what you were talking about? The
Exactly.
lozenge?
Exactly. But I make my own. You just boil it with sugar water and let it harden on a cookie sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds really
It won't be
easy.
pretty. It won't be pretty little ovals, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, it still has the same properties,
And the sugar kind of helps choke it down. So
especially because it tastes so bad.
yeah, it's pretty bitter. But as David brought up, bitters are good for you, and we'll talk about that when we get to dandelion. Do I talk about dandelion?
Not yet.
We've already done plantain weed. And Duval's is endorsing the plantain weed, and so are you, right, Adrienne?
Plantain weed. Yep, that was what the owie ointment was made out of.
Right. So now comfrey. And I am sending Adrienne a comfrey plant that I found. She said she wanted some, and we pulled the skin off the greenhouse or the plastic, and underneath the plastic was this teeny little comfrey plant that said, "I'm from Adrienne. Send me." And comfrey, the old timers called it what? Knit bone. Is that right, Andrea? What is horehound candy for? Throat lozenge, cough. It's cough drop. Some people eat it because they enjoy the bitter. So comfrey, if anyone tells you to ingest comfrey, slap them and run. Okay, because it's very dangerous when ingested. The old folks call it knit bone because literally, if you would break a bone, they would take a leaf, bruise it, wrap the affected limb, and it would help heal the bones.
Nice.
If you've got a deep bruise, do the same thing. Or I make an ointment I call achy ointment because it helps sprains and muscle strains and the deep bruising, joint pain by rubbing the salve on the outside of your skin.
Okay.
But some people will tell you it's okay to ingest, and let me tell you why that's not a good idea. The FDA and European countries have banned oral comfrey products for sale. Okay, it's unsafe due to pyrrolizine alkaloids. Let me type. I'm going to put that in chat because I don't speak very well when it comes to these words. And then it's spinning. Why isn't it? There it is.
Pyrrolizidine.
These are dangerous chemicals that can cause cancer, severely damage your liver, and even kill you if you consume them. So I have seen some YouTube content providers talk about using a tincture orally. Please don't. Just because someone's on the internet doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. And I think Adrienne and I talked about someone who was talking about wild lettuce as a painkiller. That'll kill you deader than the doorknob too. So do your research. When I say research, watch my video. I know I've said that about 4 times now. Watch my video on research with contraindications for these things. Common side effects if you happen to ingest comfrey, or if you're particularly sensitive to it on your skin, because you absorb the chemical through your skin. So if you, Cece's asking, don't people drink comfrey tea? Yeah, but it causes abdominal distension. It'll make you look like you're pregnant, abdominal pain, loss of appetite, lack of energy, liver enlargement as it attacks your liver, decreased urine output, because there you go with your liver. You're not producing the pee in the kidneys either. It obstructs the small veins in the liver, which causes liver disease. It's unsafe for pregnant people or breastfeeding people, even if you apply it to your skin while you're pregnant or breastfeeding. The PAs in comfrey are absorbed through the skin. It might cause birth defects. Okay?
Yeah.
Avoid use. Don't put it on broken or damaged skin, because it'll heal you so fast it traps infection and gives you a worse problem than you had with the wound. So if that's not enough to scare you, I don't know what is. So when I make the achy ointment and I advertise that I've got achy ointment, I screen people before I sell it to them. Okay, I make sure that people know how not to misuse this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What is it good for? It's good for compost. Chickens love it. Cows love it. It doesn't seem to bother them.
I like making fertilizer with it.
And you make fertilizer with it. Just don't drink it. Rub it against, sore, achy joints and bruising. But please.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I all of a sudden got everyone. I can see how serious Adrian is, and everyone's probably there where she is now, going, "Wow, that is scary." Michelle's using coffee for compost and chicken. That's good.
Yeah, because let the chickens eat it, and then they'll poop it out, and then you can use it like that.
I'll take the leaves and I'll lay leaves in between rows of plants, or I'll grind them up and put them in a 5-gallon bucket of water.
Comfrey has a tap root, right? So it goes pretty deep.
Yeah, and it survived the freeze.
Yeah, and that's why it's so beneficial, because it goes, the root taps down pretty deep and mines all of those nutrients and minerals in the ground. And then when you get to use those leaves, you're getting the benefits of all those nutrients that it has mined.
Yeah. So does everybody understand that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not recommending comfrey for consumption? Please say yes, you understand. You're not going to blame me if you drink some and your liver shuts.
Do not drink the comfrey. Stay away from the comfrey.
Stay away from the comfrey.
Okay, purple coneflower. A lot of people want to know about the echinacea, the purple coneflower.
One of my favorites. 3 months stratification to get the darn stuff to germinate if you're in an area that doesn't have cold enough, long enough winters. Okay?
Yeah.
And of course, to stratify, you put it in a little bit of sand, you moisten the sand, put it in your fridge. And then when it comes out, you either put that in a pot and let it germinate, or broadcast it where you want it to come out. It is an immune system stimulator. I make tincture, I make salve, I dry some for tea. I've got probably a quart of tincture, which will last a decade, in my kitchen, and I use it at 1 or 2 eyedroppers at a time. Going into flu season, I use it twice a day until I get stupid like I did this year and forget to do it for several weeks, and I got sick. So it worked. You get like, is that stuff really working? And then you quit taking it and you get sick. Yeah, that stuff was really working. But now the horses are out of the barn, right?
Right.
You can take echinacea 3 times a day until you feel better. But according to experts, don't take it for more than 10 days straight, because you can overload your system.
Wow.
There's another herb to list, blue vervain.
We'll write that one down.
Okay. Do not take echinacea on an empty stomach. It'll give you an upset stomach. Take it with food or a large glass of water. I put it in soda, tea, hot tea, coffee, whatever I'm drinking.
Okay.
Um,
Now, what do you do? Just you do the flower, the whole flower, or what?
no, because you've got that prickly stuff. I I will take the petals. You see the coneflowers behind me? I'll
Yes.
strip the petals and you end up with those knobby things sticking up. And those turn into seed, and the goldfinches will come eat the seed, poop it out, and then you get volunteer echinacea here and there. But if you like the goldfinches and like them in your garden, it's a seed source for them. We've got rats all over the place here, David. I've never seen one on a coneflower. They did, however, go into my greenhouse a few days ago and eat my pumpkin seeds I was soaking.
Oh.
Yeah, found the seeds all through the greenhouse that had been chewed. I'm so upset. No pumpkins this year. Let's see. You can use echinacea to shorten the duration of the common cold and flu, and to reduce symptoms such as sore throat, cough, and fever. Herbalists recommend echinacea to help boost the immune system and help the body fight infections. Again, I use it regularly.
Okay.
It's a blood sugar regulator. It helps with anxiety, inflammation, skin health, and it may even have cancer-fighting properties. But human-based research is often limited, and it's not proven yet through human-based research.
Okay.
It is considered safe and well tolerated for short-term and long-term use. Okay. Chemicals and echinacea tea may irritate your stomach lining and cause cramps, stomach pain, or irritation, which is why you take it with food. Okay. You can do 1 to 2 cups per day to avoid the negative side effects. Do not take echinacea if you have an autoimmune disorder such as lupus, multiple sclerosis, or HIV. Okay. What's the next one, Adrian? Dread nettle?
Yes.
A lot of us have dead nettle in our yard right now. I know.
Yeah.
I think I did a video last year on dead nettle where silly me was sitting in it. I picked it up and was chewing on it. And then I started choking on it.
What?
And I had to turn the camera off because I was like, ah! Okay. Laminum purpureum, native to Europe and Asia. It is an astringent, purgative diuretic. So while I'm choking, I'm peeing myself, right? And diamorphic. It's anti-inflammatory, antifungal, and antibacterial. Fresh leaves can be applied to wounds. You can enjoy the leaves fresh or dry for tea. And that's a 5-minute soak in the tea.
Okay.
I've already talked about pink clover. Do I need to?
We didn't talk in detail about the red clover. We kind of just touched on it.
Yeah, morning glowies can be toxic. So, who has questions about the red or pink clover, Trifolium pratense? Pratense?
Pratense. What does it taste like as a tea?
The clover? It's kind of vanilla-like. By the way, vanilla, I make my own extract. And it's a cancer fighter too. So I've been putting it on my coffee every morning. But the red clover or pink clover kind of tastes cinnamony, vanilla-ish when it's dry. So don't use it fresh. Dry it and then use it. Yeah, there's a lot of herbs that irritate thyroid disease. That's why you look for contraindications.
So the key word is contraindications.
put that in there again.
Yes. So when you are researching your herbs, you always want to use the word contraindications.
Now you've
And
got it in stereo now.
oh, there we go. What that means is it will tell you what you cannot use it with, or what you cannot mix it with, or what you cannot take it with, or what you cannot take it, or if you cannot take it if you have XYZ. So contraindications is what's going to tell you what the side effects are, what it's going to cause, complications with, and whatever, you know what I mean? So you have to be the one to know what you are going to try to take it for, how you want to take it, and then you have to also know what kind of health issues that you already have, or what kind of medications that you're already on.
A Brown is asking, what does dead nettle taste like? And the only thing I can say is it tastes green. And you can use it dry or fresh. Do you know what I mean when I say green? That you can taste the chlorophyll?
Dry or fresh taste. So I have seen dead nettle dehydrated, and then you use the leaves and the flowers dehydrated, and you put them in a tea. But you can mix herbs in a tea. So you can use like dried chamomile and dried dead nettle, and what's another one, Lisa? Um, that's good.
What are we using it for?
Echinacea. Let's say echinacea. So
Okay.
if you make yourself a blend, you can do like dried dead nettles, dried chamomile, and dried echinacea, and you can put that all in a tea and give you some honey, some local honey or whatnot, and then you'll get the benefits from the dead nettle, from the chamomile, from the echinacea, and you'll get all that in that one tea. So you can make blends with your herbs. You don't have to just do one herb at a time, but you have to know what each of those herbs is going to do when mixed with the other. So you always want to do your own research, and also with the contraindications, if you're on any type of medications, or if you have diabetes or high blood pressure or whatever, what have you, pregnant, nursing, all of those things. Anything that a medication is going to tell you, don't take it if you're pregnant or nursing, or don't take it if you have this, or don't take it if you have that. It's almost the same thing with herbs. You want to make sure that you are careful with your herbs, that you're not taking them, um, you just wrongfully taking them, I guess you could say.
It's like as a diabetic, you learn to read between the lines too. When it
Yeah.
says caution for diabetes, whatever, or impacts blood sugar, if it has a list, if the herb has a list that it helps control diabetes, read between the line. That means if you're on insulin, like I am, that means it may crash your sugar. So if you drink some, check your sugar 2 hours after drinking it and see what has it done to your blood sugar. If you're going down below, what is it, 90, 85, 90, then either cut back on the concentration, or maybe you don't want to take that herb. Yeah, it's always good to have reference books. Research, research, research. Dark Lord
Absolutely.
says marshmallow herb is one you shouldn't have if you're hyperthyroid. Well, let me tell you about marshmallow herb that's mixed into things that help you poop. Like there's a tea out there called Smooth Move. It's got marshmallow in it. If I drink that, I go from not being able to, and I turn into a goose for like 4 days. I'm very clean from here down. And that's with a mild steep on it. So it tells you to steep it X amount of minutes. I take 60% of that time away and dilute it, and it still does it to me. So you don't know how your body's going to react to certain things. That's very effective. Very effective if you have those problems. Let's see. I'm scrolling through the chat.
That's a good point, Dark Lord. Test each herb single so you know if you'll react to that one before you start mixing them.
Exactly.
It's kind of like when you're feeding your baby food for the first time. You have to start out with one food at a time. Your doctor tells you start with one thing at a time because if the child has an allergy, a food allergy, you won't know it because you've mixed everything up. So now you have to try to single it out, but if you just start with one thing at a time, introducing that one thing at a time, then you'll be able to better regulate on how and what reacts with your body.
Mountain Grandma wants to know what we do with dead nettle. I don't use it. Do you use it, Adrian?
I have dried it out and I have made a tea. I think I want to say that the dead nettle is good for like
Minerals, vitamins, and minerals.
females, uh, mostly.
Nicole's laughing at me being a goose. Thanks, Nicole. I tell you what, for a gift this year, you won't believe what Charlie bought me
Uh-oh.
for my birthday. A butt washer, a bidet.
A bidet.
I tell you what, squirts of cold water up your yoo-hoo.
Dead nettle is an anti-inflammatory
Yeah,
and it's antibacterial.
Yes, Mountain Grandma. Nicole is laughing at me. May you find a bidet in your future, Nicole. Seriously, you'll use 90% less toilet paper. But he didn't buy the one that heats the water. So in the middle of winter, that cold water was something else. Let me say it. Anyway, on to other topics.
Yes, the stinging nettle is definitely the better nettle.
Well, that's different. Stinging nettle is. It's very good for your body. Let's add that to the list for next time.
That actually, yes. The dead nettle, good point, Michelle, because you just reminded me. The dead nettle is good for warming you up in the winter. Like if you've got chills in the wintertime, dead nettle encourages like perspiration. So it'll warm you up from the inside. So that was one thing. What's that?
Do you get it in the fall too?
So no, what you do is you harvest it in that springtime. It blooms from like April to May and it only blooms for, a few weeks. So you got to get it while it blooms. And what you do is you harvest the leaves and the flowers, you wash them real good, you dehydrate them, and then you save them for the winter time. So in the winter time, you'll use it in a tea for like when you get cold or if you have chills, then you can use it and it'll definitely warm you up. It's good for your kidneys too.
The problem is some dried herbs lose their potency very quickly. A rule of thumb is a year, but things like Melissa officinalis, do you know that name? Lemon balm?
Lemon balm.
It's only good for 6 months after you dry it. So something in my memory is telling me the dead nettle loses its potency pretty quickly. That's something to research if you're going to dry it. Like right now, we're at the end of purple dead nettle season here in Georgia. So by the time it gets cold again next winter, it may not be potent. It's just something.
Good night, Q. Thanks for coming in. Nicole said she's all about the bidet.
Yeah, bidet, I like it now. So, bitter melon. I grow this. I have to say, if I ate one bitter melon a week, my diabetes was totally under control.
Nice.
The Jamaicans have a type of bitter melon that they call sirsi, and they'll boil the leaves, not the melon, but the leaves, and use it as a blood purifier. So last year, out of curiosity, I took the leaves from Chinese and Indian bitter melon and used it that way. And I have to say I felt better. So it did detox.
Okay.
You just don't do it often.
Yeah, not detoxing. Too much detoxing is not good anyway.
No.
So
But if you're still menstruating, a detox after you finish your cycle can help.
absolutely.
Yeah. But it's also a really good source of vitamin C. And 1 cup contains good amounts of folate and vitamin B9, which helps your cells grow.
Right.
It's an antioxidant, controls blood sugar, helps fight cancer, especially cancer of the prostate, um,
And in the uterus,
uterine cancer, um,
breast cancer.
breast cancer, and women in my family are prone to breast cancer. So hopefully, I'm protecting myself from that hereditary thing. Um, it lowers your chance for microbial infections, keeps metabolic disorders at bay. If you're going to make a tea, boil some water. Put the bitter gourd slices in the water, stir, add honey, and let stand a couple of minutes. But you've brought it up to a boil in that water. But again, if you're diabetic, check your blood sugar.
Is that one of the ones that you have to let steep longer? Is that one of the 10-minute ones?
I believe so. Yes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
But
So what are some of the risks and complications of bitter melon?
You've got the list. You want to read it?
Sure. All right. Some of the risks and complications of bitter melon are diarrhea, vomiting, and some other intestinal issues, vaginal bleeding, contractions, and abortion. So definitely, if you're pregnant, you don't want those types of complications. Dangerous lowering of blood sugar if it's taken with insulin, liver damage, and favism, which can cause anemia. So you have to always be mindful when you're taking different foods.
Contraindications,
Hmm.
side effects.
So it's not safe for children or pregnant or breastfeeding women. And if you're on diabetes medicines, then you want to make sure that you're not taking bitter melon and diabetic medication together because then it can contraindicate. It's a contraindication.
Everyone's going to dream about contraindications tonight.
So let's see. I'm looking for a book that not only tells me I shouldn't take it, but also why I shouldn't. For example, everyone knows we shouldn't really eat ice cream. We know why, but we eat it anyway.
Well, ice cream's great for you. Boosts your calcium. There's a set of encyclopedia out there, the Herbal Encyclopedia Medicinal, something like that. If you Google it, it'll come up, but it's expensive. And if you're not familiar with the medical terms that are in there, you're going to be forever Googling.
I have one written down. I don't have my list in front of me.
And I've got a lot of books.
David Hoffman is an author, and he has a really big book that a lot of herbalists use in their schooling. It's a medical herbalism, and it's called The Science and Practice of Herbal Medicine. So he is actually an herbalist, and he's on Britain's National Institute of Medical Herbalists. So he's been a clinical herbalist for more than 25 years, and he's the real deal as far as I'm concerned. but he's got a textbook, and it's a pretty expensive textbook, but it's got everything in it to tell you what it is and what to do with it. But then you also have, other books out there that are really good to tell you, you know, recipes and how not to use it. So there's not just one book that's going to give you everything that you want to know, but it's good to have a variety of books in your library that you can turn to. So again, David Hoffman, it's David is David, obviously, and Hoffman is Hoffmann. I think the book is about a little over $50 on Amazon.
Medical herbalism.
Yeah, you can get
53.53.
you can get it on Kindle for cheaper if you have a Kindle and you like, doing the digital or what have you. You can do that for $30. But here, I'll put the link in the chat. His name again is David Hoffman.
I just Googled David Hoffman herbalist, or by David Hoffman herbalist, and it came up with a list.
Definitely want to have more. You definitely want to have more than one book. But that's the link for the book. I put it in the chat. And he's really good. I know that a lot of herbalists that are going to school, that's the textbook that they use in while they're studying. So
Yeah,
it's a
I've
pretty
got
big
it in
book.
my library.
It's a pretty big book. So yeah, I'm one. I have to actually have a book in front of me. I don't like to do the digital thing.
Yeah, do
I
you do
like
the highlight? You highlight everything on
Yes, I love to do the highlighting. I love to make my own little notes and, use all the post-it notes and all of that good stuff.
yes.
Like, when I was in high school, we had agenda books and we would, you know, it was almost like it was a scrapbook. We would just, go to town in it. But yeah,
That's the way I studied too.
yeah, I'm a very colorful studier. Let's put it that way.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
So
Um, so
mint
yeah.
is one that we all have in our garden, I would think, and it helps you with morning sickness, allergies, reduces asthma. It's helping me with my bronchitis tonight. Um, you can use it as much as you want. Um, it if you put it in a balm, it's good for your skin. It it helps it with acne, skin rashes, sunburn, bug bites, hemorrhoids. Mint up your butt. I think that sounds stimulating. Anyway, reduces pain, itchiness, inflammation, achy joints. I think the peppermint is, if you've ever noticed this, if you're on a trip in the car and you chew peppermint gum, it keeps you alert. So it's stimulation that way. If you
Mhm.
use mint and tea, it only needs 5 minutes of steep.
I love mint. I love it.
Yes. Here's
I
one that's
love.
dangerous. Next one's dangerous.
Let's see. And what happens if poof, no power and net goes out? Right. Exactly. Exactly. So you want to make sure that you have something that you can turn to in your hand if the power goes out or if the grid goes down or, God forbid we are in the dark. You want to have something hard, that you can turn to if you need it. So if you're a prepper or if you're a fan of prepping or if you're just getting started in your prepping venture, then definitely books in your possession are going to be valuable.
And a point I like to make is, who wants to cuddle their Kindle in bed? You can go to bed and hug your book and fall asleep hugging your book, right?
Hmm.
Something comforting about that, right?
Yeah,
Or am I just
absolutely.
old? Is it just me and my generation?
I love a book. I love a book. I don't I can do, I can research to a certain extent on the internet, but I like to have an actual book. Something
Okay.
about those pages.
Okay. Mountain Grandma uses mint to help her GERD. Yeah, I've got GERD and I'm learning what sets it off and I stay away from it.
It can irritate GERD.
Yeah, it can. So let's talk about St. John's wort. This is one you have to be careful about. Now, with diabetes comes depression and anxiety. I don't know how many of you knew that. So if you have a diabetic in the family that gets up in the middle of the night and paces because they're anxious, that's part of the diabetes. And some forms of insulin actually make it worse and will touch our feelings of suicidal tendencies.
Have a good night, Phoenix. Thank you for coming in.
Bye, Phoenix. Hope to see you around. Um, so when my doctor learned that I was into herbs, and he actually has used some of the herbs I suggested for him, and every now and then he'll ask me, and he says, he needs to learn herbal medicine. So I've stimulated that interest in him. So I tend to get depressed and anxious as the winter comes on, and some people call that sad.
Yes.
And he says to me, drink St. John's wort tea. And I have to say, I had just made tincture and grown St. John's wort for the first time. And I was putting the drops in my tea, and it did help. However, and this isn't me because I'm not on psychotics, but if you take anything for schizophrenia or mental illness, do not use St. John's wort. It will cause all sorts of complications. Also, there's an ornamental St. John's wort, and then there's a St. John's wort that is the medicinal. And the medicinal has a different botanical name, Hypericum perforatum. How do you tell the difference? You hold the leaf up to the light, and the perforatum looks like there's little pinpricks of like yellow dots on the green background of the leaf. That's your medicinal St. John's wort. Okay. But again, you need to look at the contraindications. It's very important with this particular herb. And if you don't have any of the medical problems listed in the contraindications, it more than likely will help you brighten your mood. Okay. It'll chase the winter blues away. It worked for me. And it's add a teaspoon of the flowers that you've dried to hot water and steam for 5 minutes. It also supports your nervous system. It's been used traditionally for kidney and lung ailments, insomnia, and depression. It helps with ADHD, so it'll help you focus. If you have excessive compulsive disorder, it helps you control that a little bit. What else? However, it'll weaken the effects of the following medications: antidepressants, birth control pills. So while it's making you happy, you can go get yourself pregnant.
Oh, no.
If you've had a transplant, an organ transplant, stay away. It can cause you to reject your organ. If you have heart medications like digoxin, how do you say that, Adrian?
Digoxin, yeah.
If you're on
And
HIV,
ivermectin.
if you're on HIV drugs, don't take it. It counteracts cancer medications. If you're on blood thinners such as warfarin, makes it very dangerous, and reverses the effects if you're on statins for your cholesterol. So while it sounds like a good idea if you're depressed, it's a bad idea for a lot of us. Okay? The next one, Mike, you use St. John's wort. I take it you don't have any of the problems I listed. Fenugreek. I love fenugreek. I cook with it. Fenugreek, if you're lactating, like, will cause you to be like a milk machine. I've had friends who are lactating, had trouble producing breast milk, who have gone on fenugreek tea, and the milk just kind of started dripping.
Wow.
Which would be the side effect you want, but it's a legume. And if you throw the seeds down on the ground, I kid you not, it germinates in like 3 days. Okay, so while you're growing fenugreek, it's fixing nitrogen in your soil. If you have compacted soils, it's breaking up the compaction. So that's wonderful in the garden.
So it's a root?
It's you eat the leaves. Leaves are the seeds. I use the seeds. I'll take a 2-liter bottle, put 3 tablespoons of the little square golden seeds in, fill it with water, and leave it on the counter overnight. And then over the course of the next week, I'll drink 2 ounces a day, and it regulates my blood sugar. But you've got to drink it every day. And when you reach the point where you smell your wrist and it smells like maple syrup, then you have enough in your body for it to help you. But it'll
Wow.
until you can smell that maple, it's building in your system. You got a dog talking to you?
Yes.
At least it's not chatting like mine are.
No, he comes and he puts his paw on my arm.
Okay, so am I sensing that everyone's getting a little tired? We've been on 2.5 hours.
Fenugreek. You said it's a nitrogen fixer.
Right.
Okay. So when do you grow it? Do you grow it in the spring?
Right now,
or?
throw it down now and throughout the summer, just throughout the growing season.
Okay.
Here in Georgia, I grow it year round.
So it does grow year round for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it grows best when you start seeing vetch. You know, when you start seeing vetch, that's probably the best time to start it.
Okay.
But it's wonderful in cooking. If you Google fenugreek recipes, you'll get all sorts of wonderful Indian curry type recipes.
So what do you put the seeds in when you use the seeds?
I'll soak them in the water overnight, and then they'll start to sprout. And when I drain them back out of the water, I just go throw them in the garden.
Oh, okay.
To tell you the truth, because then they'll go ahead and grow and feed the plants.
Dave said they don't get tired in Cali. Well, we still have 20 people in here, so I don't think anyone's tired yet, Lisa.
Oh, okay. I got the impression I was losing you, Adrian. You're kind of like...
No, I was looking at Zeke. I was trying to figure out if he was trying to ask if he needed to go out, but he didn't. He just was telling me he's tired of me being on the computer.
So what's the next thing we have on the list?
We have dandelion.
One of my favorites.
Mine too.
Oh, I love dandelion. The leaves are diuretics, so don't drink dandelion tea before bed. Don't drink dandelion tea before bed, but it is a probiotic. What else does it do for us? The roasted root tea, which Charlie said earlier tastes like coffee, is a prebiotic. So you need prebiotics to feed your probiotics and to keep your microbiome, your gut bacteria, healthy. The leaves are used in salads or stir fries. It's a bitter. By chewing a little bit of the leaf, usually 15 minutes before a meal, it stimulates your bile production, which helps you digest. It lowers your blood sugar if you're diabetic. It's just a wonderful all-around plant, and it's one of the earliest blooming flowers, so it's extremely important for the bees.
Absolutely. I make a dandelion vinegar to use as a base for salad dressing. So it's so rich. it's so rich in vitamins A, C, and K.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even better than kale or spinach.
Hmm. What part of the plant are you using?
The flour,
In what ratio do you use it, flour to vinegar?
I would have to look at my recipe, but I believe I fill a mason jar about 3/4 of the way full,
And then
and then
top it.
cover it with the vinegar.
And how long do you let it extract?
About I want to say 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow. Okay. So the normal tincture type
Yeah, yeah.
action. Have you ever covered them in tempura, the blossoms, and fried them?
No, I actually haven't.
Try that. Dip them in tempura and fry them, and basil blooms
Ooh.
covered in tempura, or make up a beer black. Blah, blah.
Hmm.
Can't talk anymore. Beer batter and dunk them and fry them.
Thank you, Nisi. Dandelion wine. Oh, I've seen a lot of people make dandelion jelly.
Dandelion jelly. I haven't tried it.
I haven't either, not yet. I was going to make some dandelion jelly last year. I harvested a bunch of dandelion. I made dandelion tea. I made dandelion vinegar. And then I said, okay, I'll have to harvest some more to make some jelly. But I missed the window, and then my dandelions were gone.
They don't come back in the fall?
They don't.
Huh. I get 2 blooms.
I don't get two blooms. No.
So Free Handy's leaving us. We'll see you, Free Handy. David, what was the dandelion wine like?
Right. That's interesting. Was it bitter?
David, I've been missing you during my lives. I hope you'll come back.
Somebody's getting hungry. Dark Lord said we're making him hungry.
We're talking about fritters.
Michelle said she dehydrates the dandelion flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And Garden State so and so says she's growing dandelion and she found the pink dandelion.
Yeah, that's the
What you
Eastern
said
European.
you're growing, right?
Right. Yep. It's beautiful.
So does the pink dandelion have the same properties as your common
Absolutely.
dandelion?
Absolutely. It's what
Good.
they eat in Europe. It's what,
Okay. And then you said you had a white dandelion too, right?
it was from Japan. It's got a yellow center and
Okay.
white around the edges. It's really
So
pretty.
almost like a daisy.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Dandelion wine was big in the 60s and 70s. So was all sorts of herbs.
Didn't they
I
make
wouldn't
a song about dandelion wine?
They say if you remembered the 70s, you weren't really there.
Didn't they make a song about dandelion
I
wine?
think so. I don't remember.
I
As
feel like that was a song.
All right.
Anyone have any questions about dandelion?
Dandelion tea, especially the root tea, you need to steep that for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, and then of course you can use the leaves in salads. So
There's
like
still better.
leaves with spinach and kale. Fried dandelion flowers are awesome.
If you're using dandelion for the quality of the bitter, you need to eat it 15 minutes before you have the rest of your meal so that it has time to stimulate your bile. If you have an exceptionally difficult period, or you've been sick and you've been on antibiotics and medications, then just run out in the yard and pick a dandelion leaf that hasn't been peed on by a dog or something and chew it, and it'll help you detox. But you have to have the bitter taste on your tongue, okay, to stimulate the bile. Any bitter herb will do that for you, whether it's rosemary, what do they call it, raspberry, sorrel, dandelion. Name some bitters, Adrian. What else is a bitter? There's like 10 of them out there.
I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, kind of brain dead.
My mind is like blank right now. Now
Yeah.
that you asked me for it.
Information overload. So I've got one more thing to talk about.
Right. We got one more on the list.
And that's this wonderful stuff.
Willow bark.
Willow bark. And I don't go running around stripping bark from willow trees to make this. I'm not going to do that. I order it online. I broke my back as a young woman training horses, and it's caught up to me. And sometimes I have trouble moving. If you look at my videos, sometimes you'll notice I can barely walk. Charlie will rub some of this on my back so I can sleep. Okay, it takes the pain out of my back and out of my hips that have arthritis. Lately, I've discovered the neuropathy in my feet. With diabetics, we get a neuropathy, a burning sensation in our legs and feet. I've noticed when I rub the willow bark on my feet before bed, I don't have the neuropathy. Now, that all sounds wonderful, right? It's a natural product, and it's easy to locate. When you squeeze it out of the tube, you just need a little dab and spread it over a large area. Now, it's a substitute for aspirin. If you're sensitive to aspirin, you don't use it, and you can OD on it if you use too much.
Even as a topical?
It's a topical. It's like Bengay or capsaicin rub.
But can you OD on it as a topical?
Yes, you can, and you can OD on Bengay and capsaicin as well. So
Oh, wow.
learn your tolerance level. But if you're diabetic, your doctor will tell you don't use willow bark. And of course, I'm using it. I don't listen to my doctors. Let me read my notes here, and I'll tell you what it does to diabetics. It attacks our kidneys and liver more to the higher than people without those issues. And I guess you muted yourself, huh, Adrian? When I go for my quarterly blood draw, my doctor tests my liver function and my kidney function, and my numbers are absolutely normal. So if I ever show up and he tells me I'm elevated, I'm not going to use this anymore, and I don't know what I'm going to use as a substitute, because it's the only thing I have found that addresses my neuropathy and my joint pain.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess if you just use it in moderation, it shouldn't cause you any issues.
Right, but I'm using it probably 5 out of 7 days, which is a lot.
And it hasn't caused you any issues yet.
And I've been using it a couple of years.
Okay.
So every body is different. It may impact you negatively the first time. May not impact you at all. It's one of those things you try. If it works for you, you know what to look out for. And of course, if you're having liver issues, and you all will learn with me, I don't mind talking about body function. One of the ways you tell you're not processing your toxin is the color of your poop. If your poop is going orange or bright yellow, your liver's having problems. Same thing with your dogs or your cats. They've gotten into poison if you see their poops going those colors. Okay. Color your poop indicates all kinds of things. Like colon cancer, it's coffee ground black. Hemp cream, Michelle, can have the same effect on some people. So learn the physical symptoms of your liver and kidneys not handling whatever compound that you're taking. And that's about all. And I know we've been on almost 3 hours. So this is
right.
A broadcast. What are y'all thinking? Did you get bored or your butt hurt, or you need some willow bark for your butt after this long broadcast? Take it to my husband and say, rub my butt, honey.
Some people are allergic to hemp. Yeah. So we've got a list of herbs that we can talk about on the next broadcast, which we'll probably do over on Lisa's channel. So
how many of you want another session like this on the herbs that we didn't cover? If you have questions.
Yeah, we had a list that people were putting in the chat Solomon seal, burdock root, marshmallow plant, moringa, meadow rue, Cuban oregano, and blue vervain. So those were just some of the ones that people were interested in learning about. And if you guys have anything extra that you would like,
Email Adrian or me,
then
right?
after the live, go into the comment section after the live has ended. And if you think of anything that you would want us to cover in the next broadcast, then put that in the comment section after the live ends. Okay, so that way we can go back to the comments of the live stream and see the list of, what people are looking to educate them, get more education about. So we've got Dark Lord. He said, me, please. Mike's got his hand up. He's raising his hand. Garden State so and so said she'd love another session. So that was the support list that we got out of the chat today. Is there anything that you guys are growing or would like to grow that you think that you would want more education about or would like to be educated about? I think that I have a couple. One of them was called Meadow Sweet. So I think I'm going to have Lisa talk about Meadow Sweet and
Black cohosh,
which
black
one is it?
cohosh, black
Black
cohosh for menopausal things.
Black Cohosh,
Cohosh.
OSH. Got it. Black Cohosh.
Yeah.
All right.
So may I say, I'm trying to grow my channel. It's only a year old. If you like what we did here, do you mind if I say, Adrian, please subscribe to me? Follow me.
Yes,
I need
I've got at the top of the chat, you can see where I pinned Lisa's link to her channel. If you look at the top of the chat, there's a pin up there in the blue headline. If you click on that, it'll say go to channel. So you can go to Lisa's channel from that link right there and you can subscribe. Or I have her link in the chat somewhere. So Duval City Girl Gardner said she has enjoyed it a lot and she would love another session. Michelle said horseradish.
horseradish. Oh boy, does that take over your garden? Yes.
Horseradish, milk thistle was another one.
I got him.
Dana Springs, thank you for coming in. I didn't see
Thank you,
you,
Michelle.
but thank you for coming in.
Now,
Mountain Granny said she enjoyed this.
I'm supposed to have a live this coming Thursday because I was doing lives first and third Thursdays. But a lot of people who came to my live last Thursday asked me to start doing them on Mondays. I don't know how to change that, Adrian. If I've got followers who come on Thursdays, am I going to lose them going to Mondays? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you would only be able to know if you did a Monday and compared it to a Thursday. You know what I mean? That's the only way you're going to be able to find out. So like today we did Monday and I think we had a pretty good turnout. I seen a lot of subscribers that were coming from your channel. I seen subscribers that were from my channel. I can tell which ones are which. Like I can see which ones are watching from your channel. The ones that have, at least on my end, I can see there's an indication on which ones are watching on your
I'm
channel.
going to go pop over to my channel and see what it tells me.
If you're looking at the chat in StreamYard, you should be able to see like a paper clip.
Let me see. I am so not trying to go 10 people watching on my channel now.
Horseradish. Let's see. I'm diabetic, neuropathy, anything to help keep me under control. So yeah, that would be the bitter melon, right? As long as you're not on insulin. I have another channel I like to watch at this time on Mondays.
Yeah, I've been missing you on Thursdays, David. I know you got kind of mad at me from one of my broadcasts, and I've been missing you ever since. But please come back. David, every time I do a drawing, I swear he wins everything. He
He's
must
a
be
winner. He does win a lot. I have another channel I like to watch on Mondays. Let's see. Live here too. David said he prefers Thursday.
So, I know I'm competing with 4 other people on Thursday, and they're all people that I support, and we have a lot of the same people, and I guess they're more fun than I am. I average like I average like 9 or 10 people. I can't wait till I get like 80 or 90 people in the chat, but I might
So
alternate on my energy level, Thursday and then Monday and Thursday and Monday, but that takes a lot of energy.
should you change maybe the time on Thursdays?
What do y'all
Maybe-
think? You think
maybe
8 o'clock or 7 o'clock is too early?
Does Mountain Rose sell seeds?
No, they're not into growing plants. They want you to buy their products.
So they want you to buy the dried herbs that they sell.
Right. They do have already made tinctures and salves, though. They're pricey. Okay, I'm not following what Lori said.
Deborah said she watches another channel on Mondays. That was from the live stream running.
Thank you, Grandma. So maybe I'll just stick with Thursday. But maybe I need to play with the time I come on.
All right, Tammy, thank you for coming in. She said Strictly Medicinal sells seeds.
Yeah, seeds and plants. I'd rather buy the plants. That's just me. I have limited space to buy a 20 greenhouse. 6
The
p.m.
one that I watch ends a little after 6. Now that's on Thursdays or that's on Mondays? We all watch the same channel. That's on Monday. Okay.
So that's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. So Mondays, I guess, are out.
Okay. I saw you guys live by chance, looking with something else. I rarely have a set day and time I tune in. It's just whatever.
I feel lucky, A. Brown, that you're here. Thank you for bringing your blessings.
Yes. Thank you, A. Brown. We appreciate you being here. All right. So it's up to you, Lisa, if you want to do the Thursdays, if you want to just change the time on Thursdays, maybe. I don't know if you want to do
an hour later.
Oh, the Vineyard Chicks is on Mondays. Pacific time? Wait. Vineyard Chicks are in Michigan, so they're on an hour ahead of me. They're on the same time as you, I think, Lisa.
And they're popular.
The Vineyard Chicks, yes. They have a really good channel.
I think I watched them a couple of times. But as I say, I'm only on twice a month. Can y'all give me an hour or two twice a month? I'm doing awesome giveaways.
We'll figure it out. I used to go on Fridays, and then I took a break, and then now there's a lot of channels going on Fridays.
Well, Black's Tropical is on Fridays, and they're like a magnet. So I don't want to compete with them.
Yes.
And those of you who have channels and haven't seen me in a bit, the rule of thumb here at our Georgia Suburban Homestead is if the sun's up, you're in the yard working. So if your broadcast is going on during sunlight hours, that's where I am. Otherwise, I would be there. Like I supported you through the winter. Now that's the busy season, I'm
out in the greenhouse and out in the yard.
Chasing bee swarms in my underwear.
Sunday is fun day with Joe.
Yeah, I can't miss that. Anyway,
Kettle Kitchen and another.
and Dark Lord met those are all channels that I support.
And Rambling with the Brums. Yep. We'll figure it out.
Hey Brown, watch some of my videos. I record the most mundane things. So
A. Brown said you got to keep us with you when you're outside.
I try. I do really bizarre shorts. Did you see the short with Charlie singing?
No, I didn't see that one.
You saw the ones with the dogs attacking him, right?
Yes, I did see that one.
I'll have a series, a 3-part series coming up, building a predator-proof chicken house.
Okay.
That was last year's project. It took us like 8 months to do, and I reduced it to
Fun.
three videos.
Jeez.
This year's project is we're building a tandoor.
Oh yes, I remember that. So how is that going? Did you guys make any progress on that yet?
We have 1 day a week to work on it.
Okay.
We've got the foundation, I call it the landing pad, down. And now we're digging out the area we're going to pour concrete and then actually build the tandoor. And Charlie's getting fancy schmancy. Instead of just doing one tandoor oven, he's doing a tandoor, a long piece that will have a cooktop on it, and then a chimney off the side where we'll be able to hang kebabs and smoke them. So it'll probably
that's
take
awesome.
until fall to get done. But there's a lady, Hyatt or Hen Hyatt, in Azerbaijan that does cooking videos.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? She doesn't talk. She just does her thing, and her husband works on the farm. They always end up having tea and whatever it is she's cooked.
Okay.
Yeah, none for everyone. That's right, A. Brown. It's her fault because she showed us building a tandoor and building a mud oven in her backyard. So now we have to have one.
Nice.
Monkey see, monkey do, right? So check her out.
It's a great channel. So Deborah must be there.
She's got a bazillion followers.
Really? And she doesn't talk at all?
Not at all. She's in Azerbaijan. Let me see if I can. You mind if I find her and put a link up?
Go ahead.
You're gonna be hooked. I have to warn you.
That's interesting. So how does she talk about what she's doing? Like how can she She doesn't give any instruction either. She just goes and does it, and then.
No, and I commented one time, you need to put a cookbook together. I'd buy it. As a retired journalist, I even offered to edit it for her, and she loved the comment. And I am looking for her. She just did one on today.
Okay.
I'm scrolling. So talk a bit, Adrian, and I'll pop back in when I find her.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed Lisa being on the channel today. I hope you guys enjoyed the chat. I hope it wasn't too long. I know we're going on 3 hours, but we wanted to try to get through the whole list that we had. It was a pretty extensive list. Let me see how many we had here. We had, let's see, we went through basil, toast. We went through a few types of basil. We went through the basil, regular basil, normal, common basil. Then we went through tulsi. Then we did rose. Then we did chamomile. From there, we went with garden sage. We did fennel. We went over oregano. We went over thyme, lavender, borage. We did hyssop, and then we also did anise hyssop. We did yarrow, wild violet,
Founder.
mullein, and we did horehound, plantain weed, comfrey, purple coneflower, dead nettle. We went over red clover, bitter melon, mint, St. John's wort, fenugreek, dandelion, and the last one was willow bark. So if you didn't catch the first half of the live, then you can go back and watch the replay. And we covered all of those herbs and some of the great uses for them, and then also some of the contraindicators of all of those.
If you want a copy of my notes,
Yes.
go to my About page. My email is on my About page for my channel. Send me an email. I will ask that you be a subscriber to my channel to get a copy of my notes. Okay? Because it took hours and hours to put together. So my reward is reward me with your subscription. Okay, so I found her video that she did yesterday on harvesting and cooking dead stinging nettle. How's that for appropriate for tonight's talk, huh?
Okay.
I'm about to put her link in the chat, and it is Country Life Vlog.
Country Life
And
Vlog.
it's great. Make yourself a cup of coffee or a warm beverage of some kind and sit back and watch her and tell me if you don't fall in love with her lifestyle.
Country Life Vlog.
Yeah. And watch her dog play with the bunny rabbit. I can't believe it. And she's got a turkey that struts around. The poor thing's so horny. He stays in display the whole time.
My dog used to play with my rabbits.
Really? It's most amazing. I didn't think a dog and a rabbit would get along. But they
Oh,
chase
yeah.
each other.
He was really good with my rabbits. Okay.
So enjoy that. Don't want to take your attention away from Adrian or myself, but it's a channel I relax to.
Well, there you go. And then Lisa's channel is pinned at the top of the chat.
Our
So-
Georgia Suburban Homestead. It's hard to say.
That blue banner at the top of the chat has Lisa's link in it. So after the, if you want to go over to her chat and her channel and subscribe, then you can do that. And then also make sure you guys, before you leave, give it a thumbs up. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you, Farmer V, for jumping in. We just finished up the live. We talked about a huge list of medicinal herbs and their benefits as well as their contraindicators. So check out the replay. I appreciate everybody who came in. Lisa appreciates everybody who came in.
Thank you so much for having me, Adrian.
I'm so glad you decided to come on and share the wealth of knowledge that you have. Lisa, if you guys missed the first half of the live stream, Lisa is a certified herbalist. So she has done countless hours of research, and she is a dedicated student to these medicinal herbs and things.
I don't claim to be an expert on anything, but I do know how to research and ask questions.
So she knows her stuff. She knows how to research. She knows what to look for and how to look for it. She also has a video of how you can do your research as well. So head over to her channel and look through the video list. There's a video there called Researching Herbs. It was a live stream that she did.
I think I read it on the playlist tab, maybe.
Okay. So yeah, check it out. Look for that. And that's about it, guys. I'm just thankful for you guys being here with us. So Thank you, Lisa, for joining us. And we're going to go ahead and drop you down for a second. And I'm going to say to everybody, thanks for joining us. And until next time, the more you know, the more you grow. Bye, guys.
See ya.